Small-Bone Deceased by Michael Gilbert. Dramatized for radio by Nestor Payne, with Howell Bennett as Inspector Hazelrig, Dominic Gard as Henry Boone, John Rye as John Cove, and Jill Simcox as Miss Cornell. Small-Bone Deceased.
Ladies and gentlemen, the thoughts of all present tonight will naturally turn first to the great personal loss, the very great personal loss, so recently suffered by the firm, by the legal profession, and, if I may venture to say so, without contradiction, by the British public. Abel Horniman, our founder and our late senior partner, was a man whose name will be long remembered. He was not only a great lawyer, he was also a great businessman. Some of you will remember his boast, "In 30 seconds I can lay my hands on any paper which has come into this office over the past 30 years. How many firms of solicitors, I wonder, could say the same? He was a grand old lawyer, a man who had perfected himself in every branch of a solicitor's work, a man who asked nothing of his subordinates that he
If
could
you
not
hit
himself
me again with one of those bread pellets, John Cove, I shan't type any more private letters for you in office hours.
Delilah.
To his partners and staff, the fruits of his knowledge. He died, as I'm sure he would have wished to die, in Hodges. It scarcely seems a month ago that I
It
walked...
really is rather an inspiring thought that the last words he ever wrote should have been, "Unless we hear from you by an early post, we shall have no option but to institute proceedings." There's a touch there, the old warrior, dying with his lancing couch, his face to the fire.
To bring to a successful conclusion. Yes, a grand old lawyer, the founder and the inspiration of his firm, of our firm. Perhaps I may say of our happy family, Horniman, Burley, and Crane.
Mr. Boone, I'm Miss Cornell, in case you've forgotten.
Oh, yes, you're Mr. Horniman's... you were Mr. Horniman's secretary.
Still am. I've been handed down. I've been devised and bequeathed. I'm young Mr. Horniman's secretary now.
Of course, that's his son, isn't it?
The new partner. But come and meet some of the staff. Not that it'll take you long to get to know us all. This is Miss Chittering. She works for Mr. Burley, and Miss Belbass, who works for John Cove. God help her.
How do you do?
Hello.
I'm Henry Boone. I only joined the firm this afternoon. Why should it be such penance to have to work for Mr. Cove, Miss Belbass?
Oh, I expect it's the things he says.
I see. And how long have you been with the firm, Miss Chittering?
Oh, so long I never admit to it now, for fear people might start guessing my age.
It must be quite a responsibility to work for Mr. Burley. It was a very interesting speech he just made.
Oh, yes. He's very clever, isn't he, Florence? Frightfully. I can never understand the word he says. I don't think I was really cut out for the law.
You mustn't believe a word of it. Watch her spelling Sestweekly Trust and puny mortgage with the light of pure phonetics. Never mind, Miss Belbass. What a brains, besides beauty.
Well, what are they?
Who's the glamorous redhead?
What? Oh, that's Anne Mildmay. She works for Chubby Crane. Look, I suppose it's time to go, but far too early to go to bed. Let's have a drink somewhere.
All right. I know a place in Shaftesbury Avenue which stays open till midnight.
All that messuage, tenement or building, together with the outbuildings, farm buildings, cottages, barn sheds, closets, and other buildings of a permanent or quasi-permanent nature, erected thereon, and several brothels and...
I beg your pardon, Mr. Cove?
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Belmas. The word was the buttles. Afraid my eyesight isn't quite what it should be this morning.
I expect it was all those drinks you had last night, Mr. Cove.
Oh.
You need a cup of coffee.
That's a very sensible idea, Florrie.
Thank you.
See if you can get the sergeant to produce a cup. 2 cups. Mr. Boone will have one as well.
I'd love one.
Okay.
I must say, I'm feeling a bit at sea with these cards.
Yes. I suppose I'd better begin your education. Now, those filing cards you've got in front of you, they're Horniman Case Index cards. At the top, you'll see the name of the client. On the left, in purple ink, a series of letters. And on the bottom, in pencil, a number.
Do we have to number all our letters, then?
Every letter written in this office is numbered. Top copy and carbon. Press copied for the letter book and stamped for outgoing mail. The carbon is then filed and indexed.
Nothing else? I mean, surely you send a copy to the Times.
Now, files. Once a file is closed, it may go into a number of different places. If the client is a grade 3 client, one whose affairs are of small importance, or who himself possesses only minimum status...
The younger son of younger sons of dukes.
You're getting the hang of it nicely. Well, his files will go down to the tea room. A second-class client travels the same route, but ends up in a locker in the muniments room. But a first-class client...
has a box.
Ah, right. And no ordinary box. Look at this.
The Venerable, the Archdeacon of Melchester, D.D. It's larger than most deed boxes, isn't it?
Yes, not only that. Its most unusual feature is... Look, you try opening it.
It doesn't budge.
Ah, you have to open it with a jerk.
What a contraption. That rubber lining round the inside of the lip seals it, I suppose.
Yeah.
Almost hermetically seals it, in fact. Surely an ordinary deed box is good enough.
It was commonly believed in the office that once, years ago, one of Abel Horniman's leases had the signature eaten off by a mouse. A mishap which gave rise to expensive litigation in the Chancery Division. Accordingly, he sat down and devised the Horniman dust-proof, moisture-proof, air-proof, and indeed mouse-proof deed box.
I see.
Mr. Crane wants you, Mr. Cove.
Curse him. All right, Anne.
Miss Mildmay to you.
Stop trying to put me in my place, Anne. Tell him I'll be along in a minute.
And take the bachelor file with you. I gather Mr. Crane wants to discuss the arithmetic in your completion statement.
Does he, though?
Have you got all you want, Mr. Boone?
Thank you. John Cove has been initiating me gently into some of the mysteries of the Horniman office system.
It scared me at first. But cheer up. You get used to it.
Oh, can you tell me who's going to do my work?
Well, that'll be Mrs. Porter. She should be in the secretary's room.
Thank you. I'll have a word with her.
But the stars are against it. Look what it says. Avoid the sea at all costs.
But you can't go altering your holiday, Florrie. You've bought your ticket.
Last month it was all right. It said you will find fortune and a good companion on the great waters. But now it's so definite. Avoid the sea. Your happiness lies in the hills. From a sum of money expended now, you will reap a modest benefit in 14 days' time.
No, wait. Ah, yes, I have it, of course.
What is it, Miss Corning?
Yeah, but last month's paper doesn't actually mention the sea. It says Great Waters. Yes, it's as clear as can be. You must take your holidays in the Lake District. Great Waters and High Hills.
Yes, I suppose you...
And the last bit's quite clear, too. You must take a cheap fortnightly return ticket. That'll save you a modest sum in 14 days' time.
Oh, I see.
Oh, you must make it a walking tour, Florrie. You can have that walking stick, the one the Duke of Laxeter left in the waiting room. And Miss Cornell will lend you her big green rucksack.
Oh, have you got a rucksack, Miss Cornell?
Since you're so kindly lending everybody else's belongings, why not start with your own dressing case?
Oh, no, really. You wouldn't want that on a walking tour, would you, Florrie?
Why, it's made of crocodile skin.
If your dressing case is crocodile, my fur coat's polar bear.
I was assured when I bought it that it was absolutely genuine crocodile.
Heave-ho, Miss Belmas. We've got to do it all again.
I should never have thought it.
Thought what?
That your fur coat was polar bear.
That's just it. It isn't.
But you said...
Florrie, my love, you really are the most literal creature on earth. If I said to you I'm dying of hunger, would you hurry out to summon the undertaker? Would you search yourself for traces of strawberry jam if somebody accused you of being a...
Mr. Cove.
The Duchess of Ashby de la Zouche, questions relating to her claims for dower. Lieutenant General for Fireside's Marriage Settlement number 3. Reverend the Metropolitan of Albania, Private Affairs. Ah, Miss Cornell.
I was looking for the law list.
Well, now you're here, I wonder whether you'd help me to sort things out. What I really want to know are the practical points. Who works for who am I under, who signs my letters, for instance?
Well, I'm not sure. If they're going on with the old arrangements, I suppose they'll be working under Bob Horniman.
I see, but look here, if Bob's taking over his father's work and I'm taking over Bob's work, I mean, what are all these cards? Are these the things Bob used to do himself?
Well, let's see. There's nothing much here to worry about. Look, if you really want some stuff to get your teeth into, I'll slip you some of Bob's. He's got some matters there that even tied his old man up.
You liked working for Abel Horniman, didn't you?
Well, yes, I did. He was a great man. He really was. And a good man to work for, too. I ought to know. I was his secretary for 19 years.
What do you think of this, Miss Cornell? It's from Rumbold and Carter about the Stokes Will Trust. They say... According to your request, we endeavoured to contact Mr. Smallbone to secure his signature to the proposed transfer of stock. We wrote to him enclosing the transfer form in duplicate on the 23rd of February and sent him a further communication the 16th ultimo and the 8th inst. In all 3 cases, without receiving any answer. If Mr. Smallbone is absent, abroad, or indisposed... Smallbone? Isn't that the funny little man Father used to dislike so much?
I don't think your father and Mr. Smallbone got on very well, Mr. Horniman. Unfortunately, they were co-trustees.
Oh, yes, the Ichabod Stokes Trust.
Yes. Otherwise, I think he'd have refused to have anything to do with him.
I remember the fellow. A scrawny little brute with an eye like a rat. I never could understand how Dad put up with him.
I think he found him very trying. If it hadn't been that the Stokes Trust was such a big thing, and of course it was tied up with the Didcots and Lord Hampstead, I think he might have refused the trusteeship rather than work with Mr. Smallbone.
Bad as that, is he? Must be a deuce of a trust. What does it figure out at?
We've sold the real property now. It's all securities. At the last account, they were worth just under £500,000.
I expect you can put up with a lot for £500,000. But the point is, what's happened to the little blighter?
He really is a hopeless person. He never answers letters, and he's apt to disappear altogether and go on a walking tour of Italy.
Italy?
He's a great collector of pottery. I believe the 2 little rooms in the house in Belsize Park where he lives are full of urns and statuettes and heaven knows what.
Well, I can see only one thing for it. You'd better slip over to Belsize Park and stir him up.
What now, Mr. Horniman?
Why not? Go after lunch.
I've got an awful lot to do.
Take a taxi. The firm will pay.
Oh, remarkable man, Mr. Smallbone. The things he's got in that room of his, you'd be surprised. Valuable.
Really?
But there, I have to get in to dust over 'em.
Good heavens. Where on earth does the man sit down?
I'll have his meals in his bedroom.
When'll he be back?
I couldn't say.
But when did he go away?
About 2 months ago.
But doesn't he tell you when he's going away, Mrs. Tasker? What about his rent?
Oh, if it's his rent you're worrying about, you needn't. 6 months in advance he pays. He has his own meters, too. I don't care where he goes or when he goes, it's all the same to me. Why, last year he was away 3 months.
I remember it well. What about his letters?
There's a few for him. Mostly bills.
Well, you might ask him to telephone us as soon as he turns up. It's rather important.
I'll tell him.
It really is extremely awkward. Who are the other trustees?
As a matter of fact, there aren't any. Father was one trustee, Mr. Smallbone the other.
Wasn't another trustee appointed when Abel died?
Well, no, Mr. Burley. That is, not yet.
So it amounts to this. Unless we can induce Smallbone to come back to England, we shall probably have the expense of going to court.
I don't know that Mr. Smallbone's gone abroad. His landlady only said he'd gone away, but perhaps if we wait a few weeks he'll...
With £500,000 worth of securities, this isn't a post office savings account. There must be questions of reinvestment cropping up every day. I wonder you've managed to get by for as long as you have.
Well, but perhaps it might be a good idea to go through the securities anyway. We could get a broker's opinion.
Where are the securities?
They're in the muniments room. I'll get Sergeant Cockrell to bring them.
You might get the trust accounts out of the box, too.
All right. But I'm sure there's nothing wrong.
Why should there be anything wrong?
About Mr. Smallbone, I mean. He often disappears like this. Miss Cornell was telling me about him. He's a bit of a crank.
The fellow ought never to have been appointed a trustee. But Stokes was mad for years before he died. Now then, about this death duty scheme of Lord Haltwhistle's.
It's very mysterious, Mr. Horniman. Your father can't have lost the key. He kept them all together on one ring. Let me have another look. Consequential. Box of colours. Very appropriate. No, you're quite right. There are only 17 keys here, and there should be 18. Stokes is missing.
First the trustee, then the key. The next thing we shall find is that half the securities are gone.
The securities aren't kept in here. They're with Sergeant Cockrell in the strong room. There's nothing in this box but old files and papers and trust accounts.
I know, but how am I to start checking up the securities unless I can get hold of the last set of trust accounts? Hasn't Cockrell got a key?
I'll ask him to come in. Sergeant Cockrell?
Yes, come in, miss. Yes, now then.
Sergeant, have you got a key that will open this box?
There should be a master key. We thought perhaps...
No, I know nothing of master keys. I've got keys for the strong room, the lockers, doors, inside doors and outside doors, but not boxes. The partners look after them.
Oh, I suppose we shall have to get through to the firm that make the boxes. Oh, heavens, that'll take weeks, and goodness knows where Mr. Smallbone will have got to by then.
Excuse me, do I understand that all you're wanting is to open this box?
That's right, yes.
Oh, well, if that's all, I'll have it open in no time. I'll just fetch my hammers.
You know, I might be able to get a copy of the trust accounts from the auditors. Then we could at least start to check the securities. After all, what's all the fuss about? We don't know there's anything wrong with this trust.
Now then, I'll just, excuse me, I'll just put her up on the window seat where I can get at her.
Let me give you a hand. Oh, it's mighty heavy.
Mr. Horniman.
Yes? What is it, Miss Belvers?
Oh, could you sign this receipt, please, sir?
Oh, in a minute.
Yeah, will you hold her steady? There.
Yes.
Good. Now, we'll have her open in a jiffy.
Now then.
Yeah.
My God. What's happened? It's in that box. We've just found him. Oh, for God's sake, can't someone stop that girl screaming?
It's a damned inconvenient thing. I particularly don't want to take you off your regular work, Inspector, but I don't see what else I can do. With Aspinall and Harvey in Lancashire looking for that blasted maniac, and Cass in Paris.
I expect I can manage it, sir.
Look here, I better give you a quick outline. At 11 o'clock this morning, a partner in this firm of solicitors, what's their name? Horniman, Burley and Crane, opened one of their deed boxes. The box was supposed to contain papers relating to a trust. What they found in it was one of the trustees. The name of Smallbone, Marcus Smallbone, dead. The late senior partner in that firm was Abel Horniman.
Wasn't he the chairman of that committee on criminal law revision?
That's the man. He was a big name in legal circles, and he was pretty widely tipped for the next honours list.
But if he's dead, sir, I don't quite see how he...
But he died about 4 weeks ago. He'd been ill for some time, angina, and I think it would be fair to say that he knew he was booked.
I see.
And our pathologist's first opinion is that Smallbone had been dead for at least 6 weeks. Possibly 8, maybe even 10.
Yes, I understand.
Abel Horniman and Marcus Smallbone were fellow trustees, the only trustees of a very big affair, the Ichabod Stokes Trust. That's an obvious line on the thing, of course. It's almost the only direct connection between the two men.
And is this trust, is it in order?
Well, that's one of the things you'll have to find out, Hazelrig. Apparently, it isn't as easy as all that. One of the difficulties is that all the papers which might have helped should have been in that deed box.
And they were gone?
Every one of them. As it was, there was hardly an inch of room to spare. If Smallbone hadn't been quite unusually small and slight, his body would never have gone in at all.
10 weeks? I should have thought they'd begun to notice him by that time.
In the ordinary way they would, but these were special boxes, as you'll see. A rubber sealing band round the edge and a compressor lid.
Rather unusual, sir. Whose idea were they?
Abel Horniman's. Here are the photographs. Incidentally, I can set your mind at rest on one point. There's no doubt it was Smallbone. We got some very good prints which match up with a dozen test samples from his lodgings.
By the way, I saw a name I recognised.
Oh, yeah?
Here, in the list of recent arrivals at the office. Boone.
Henry Weingarten Boone. Never heard of him. Who is he?
Presumably a solicitor. He used to be a statistician, and before that, an actuary.
Versatile chap.
Yes, I'll tell you how I know about him. Sergeant Pollock. You may remember him?
Oh, the man the Garrett crowd killed. He worked with you, didn't he?
Yes. Well, he was a friend of Boone's. Now, if this is the same chap, and heaven knows it's not a common name, then he might be useful. Particularly if we can be certain he wasn't involved.
Friend in the enemy's camp. Good idea. And he's out of it, of course, as he said he just joined the firm. At least, that's what he says here.
Well, Mr. Boone, and how are you finding your new work?
I'm liking it very much, thank you, Mrs. Magley.
Try as dost expect.
Oh, I don't know. We found a trustee in one of the deed boxes today.
Lord, what will you lawyers get up to next? Before you go up, there's a gentleman waiting to see you. I'll let him into your room. I hope that's all right.
Good evening.
Oh, good evening, sir. My name's Hazelrig. I'm from Scotland Yard. I believe you knew Bobby Pollock.
Lord, yes. I knew him well. I heard... Wasn't he killed?
Yes. I had the pleasure of sending down both responsible parties.
I'm glad. Bobby was a good man.
He said some nice things about you.
A drink. Whiskey?
Well, thank you. I've got a proposal to put to you, Mr. Boone. It's in connection with a murder at your office.
Oh, yes.
Now, almost the only person who could and would have killed Smallbone is your late senior partner, Abel Horniman. How could anyone else have got the box into the room unobserved and then opened the box, of which only Abel had the key?
Well, yes, when you put it like that, it seems obvious enough.
Oh, thank you.
But why?
That's where you come in. Abel Horniman and Marcus Smallbone were fellow trustees. I don't understand all the ins and outs, but I realize this much. They had joint control of a very large sum of money. It might be more accurate to say Horniman had control of it. He was the professional. One would suspect Smallbone to do what he was told, sign on the dotted line and so on.
I don't think that Smallbone was that sort of man.
Oh, I don't expect he was. That's why he's dead. No, some swindle was going on. It wasn't an obvious swindle, nothing that an outsider could spot, but Smallbone wasn't an outsider, and he just happened to spot the rabbit in the conjurer's hat.
So the conjurer popped him into his disappearing cabinet.
Yes. Think of Horniman's position. Think of the temptation. On the one hand, disgrace, probably jail. On the other, he could die respected, as the Scots say. It was so easy. Into the box with the body, lose the key, sit tight. Even if it went wrong, what did it matter? The courts would have had to get the deuce of a move on if they wanted to beat the angina that killed him.
How are you going to prove all this?
That's it. We'll have to find out what's wrong with the trust.
Well, I expect I could help you if you're keen on the idea. But surely an accountant or an auditor could do better.
I wonder. Anyway, I'd like your help, if I may have it.
Of course.
And then again, we've always got to face the possibility that it may not have been Abel Horniman. Now, that's going to open up quite a wide field of speculation.
Ah, list 2, in fact.
Yes, all those now on the staff, and just possibly someone who was with the firm but has recently left.
I suppose that's possible. I had no predecessor. My typist, Mrs. Porter, came when I did. The common law clerk, Mr. Prince, took the place of another old boy who'd been umpteen years with the firm. But he left months ago. It was just after Christmas.
There's Eric Duxford.
Ah, yes, of course. Quite notorious. Was running another job at the same time as working for the firm and stealing their clients.
I gather he resigned last month, just before he was due to be sacked.
So he's in the running. Then there's the cashier, Mr. Clark. He only left about 3 weeks ago.
No, he's out. He couldn't have done it. He only had one hand.
Why does that mean he couldn't have killed Smallbone?
Of course. You don't know how he was killed.
No, I don't. And I suggest that if you're going to trust me, you don't set traps for me.
Sorry. Just second nature. No, it would have been quite impossible. Smallbone was strangled with picture wire. Definitely a two-handed job.
I've done jobs in junk shops, in lost property offices, in warehouses, even the mistress's common room at a girls' public school, but never before in my life have I seen one room with quite so much stuff in it.
And thank your lucky stars you're in a Horniman office. This is child's play to what you'd find in the office of an ordinary uninhibited solicitor.
It's all these books, in open shelves too. Anybody could have handled them. Look at the dust on this one. Queen's Bench, 1860. Who in hell could be interested where the Queen put her bottom in 1860?
It looks as if we may take a bit of time before we're finished in here. And we shan't be able to let young Horniman back until we are, so I may as well use it myself. Oh, you've done the desk, I take it?
Oh, yes, I've done that.
Well, I'll see Mr. Burley first, then. Get someone to ask him to come in, will you?
Ichabod Stokes was a Presbyterian fishmonger. He was one of Mr. Horniman's oldest clients. He was a successful man. When he died, he owned almost a quarter of the East Coast fishing fleet.
Where did the money go?
He left a will appointing Abel Horniman and Marcus Smallbone executors and trustees.
Do you know why he chose Smallbone?
They shared a common interest in collecting pottery. My impression was that neither was really very knowledgeable on the subject. However, they used to correspond at some length, I believe.
Was the will all right?
Entirely so. There were no close relations, and the money was left to perfectly reputable charities, mostly to do with fish.
So now all you have to do is to divide the income among these charities?
In theory, that is so. In fact, it is not so simple. When Ichabod Stokes died, his estate consisted of a certain amount of real property. He bought a number of farms cheaply at the time of the 1931 slump, and there were the assets and goodwill of his various businesses which had to be valued and paid out. However, you can take it that by now everything has been realized and invested in securities.
Can you give me some idea of the value of the trust?
After the payment of death duties, it amounted to about £500,000.
£500,000? And all invested? So it'll be just a matter of checking the stocks and shares, I take it.
In theory, yes. In fact, no. We are allowed some discretion in the investment of the trust. The fund was to be kept in the best possible state of investment compatible with security. This means that shares were bought and sold to meet the demands of the day. It is not, therefore, possible, without looking through all the recent files and folders, to say exactly what the trust fund ought to consist of.
And where are all these files and folders?
They were in the box.
I see. Does that mean you'll never know what...
Certainly not. But a little time will be required before we are in a position to be precise.
I see. Well, I should like to have the information as soon as you can get it, Mr. Burley.
Of course.
Now, if Abel Horniman had been embezzling funds, do you think he would have taken them from this trust or from some other one?
It's a question which scarcely merits consideration.
But I'm asking you to consider it. The question is purely hypothetical, and I should like to have your answer.
Very well. I'll give you my answer as a hypothesis only. The Stokes Trust would have been a suitable vehicle for fraud for several reasons. First, because the only other trustee was a layman. Secondly, because the funds were all here under our effective control. They had to be, as Abel was constantly buying and selling, so no questions would be asked. Thirdly, the beneficiaries were all charities. The secretary of a charity is, as a rule, very pleased to receive his annual cheque, and is unlikely to question its amount too closely.
I see. Well, thank you, Mr. Burley. Or perhaps you would ask Mr. Boone to step along.
My secretary will find him for you.
Young man, pour yourself out a second cup of tea, do.
Oh, thank you.
And be guided by me. Never take in lodgers. Go to the poorhouse, go to prison, commit arson, larceny and what you like, but never take in lodgers.
You found Mr. Smallbone was...
Take Mr. Smallbone, a quiet man, an inoffensive man, a good payer. Never should I have thought that by his deeds he would have brought anxiety to my bosom and police to my house. The sugar's behind the clock.
No, I don't.
5 years ago I came here to lodge, put down 6 months' rent on the table, the one we're sitting at this moment, and said to me, Mrs. Tasker, I'm a rolling stone, I gather no moss, but somewhere I must have to lay my head. The first floor front pair's vacant, I said, and use of the ring at the back for cooking, and that's all that passed between us if I go to my maker tonight. I'll come and go as I like, he said, and so he did. Last year he was in Italy at his house in Florence. The address is on his card on the door. Then this February he goes away again. I'm going down to Kent, he said. I didn't catch the name. Stanton, I thought he said, but it may have been Stancombe. And if I find what I'm looking for, that'll be the beginning of great things, Mrs. Tasker. Great things. I'll be back tonight, he said.
But he never came back.
Certainly he did. That night, as he said. Then the next day he went out again. No luggage, nothing. I thought, he's found what he's looking for. And when 1 week went by and then another, I knew I was right.
You knew
I knew he was in Italy, where he is now, enjoying the hot weather.
Oh.
It's the question of access which has been worrying me. Now, from what you tell me, Mr. Boone, anyone who looked as if they had business to transact could walk into the office during business hours without anyone stopping them. What about after business hours?
They certainly couldn't get into the offices then. Sergeant Cockerell locks the 2 doors at night. He leaves about 7, and he's the last to go.
Who has the keys?
No one has keys except him, I understand.
Supposing one of the partners wanted to get in?
I'm not sure. I asked John Cove, and he said that no partner in a fashionable firm of solicitors ever did work after hours. That sort of thing being left, one gathers to the shirt-sleeves brigade in the city.
Even Abel Horniman didn't have keys?
Not of the outer doors.
I see. What about Horniman's room?
Well, in office hours, there's one very serious obstacle. You have to go through the secretary's room to get into any of the partners' rooms. And at least one of the secretaries always has to be in it.
So they'd have noticed if Mr. Smallbone had gone into Mr. Horniman's office.
Not only would they have noticed it, they'd have made a note of it in the journal, and another note when he left with a view to typing out an attendance on the subject later. How do you think we poor solicitors live?
In this case, the secretary would be Miss Cornell. She's been here a long time?
Countless years.
Efficient?
Well, she'd have to be.
Doesn't have other things on her mind.
Miss Cornell, you surprised me.
There are other things than sex, you know. No, actually, I meant golf.
Golf?
Yes, she's very good, I gather. Reached the last 4 in the Woman's Open at one time. She might have been brooding about an incipient slice or something of the kind.
What thorough research you do, Inspector. All our past lives an open book to you.
Just routine.
I gather Mr. Horniman had been an invalid for some time, Mum. If you could help me by giving me some idea of how he spent his day.
He was very regular in his habits, Sergeant. Of course, he had a nurse here all the time to look after him.
What time did he leave in the mornings?
The car came to fetch him at 10:05, and he was home at 5 o'clock for tea.
It would vary, perhaps,
Oh,
if he...
no, he was always home by 5.
Did he go out in the evenings at all?
Certainly not.
Never? I'm sorry, but we must be certain.
Mr. Horniman was a dying man. He never went out in the evenings. He retired to bed at 10 o'clock, and the nurse had the bedroom across the passage so that she could be certain to hear if he cried out. His attacks, you know, they were very sudden.
Thank you, Ma'am.
Here you are, Inspector. Effect of picture wire on the human neck. 200 magnifications.
Extraordinary. Looks like an aerial view of the Grand Canyon. What does it all prove, Dr. Bland?
Quite a lot. Would you like a picture of the weapon? Subject to very slight possible errors, here it is. Take a short piece of ordinary 7-strand brass picture wire. Drive a small hole between the strands about 2/3 of the way along, then thread one end of your wire through the hole. Now that gives you a nice, smoothly running noose or slip knot. I suggest that you then fasten toggles of wood, or anything to afford you a good grip, one at either end of the wire. There is an inexpensive, neat, household model of the garroter's loop.
Inexpensive, neat, and untraceable.
Oh, quite. It's a household weapon. Anyone could make one.
Thank you.
No, I haven't done yet. Would you like a picture of your murderer?
Oh, it's not asking too much of you, Dr. Bland.
Well, to a certain extent, the weapon implies the user. Now, he must be methodical, neat with his hands, with enough imagination to devise such a weapon, and enough ruthlessness to use it.
You surprise me.
He is also, most probably, left-handed.
What?
Ah, Yes, I thought that might stir you out of your dismal professional indifference. That's a clue, isn't it? That's something to go on. I repeat, he was left-handed. Not in the sense that he only used his left hand, but he was a man whose left wrist was better developed and stronger than his right.
Where did you get all this from?
From the wire. Look at the photograph again. Observe how all the creases on the right are drawn backwards, that is, towards the spine. Now that means that when the murderer started to pull, he exerted the actual pressure with his left hand.
Yes, I think I see what you mean. One other thing, Doctor. You say he and him. Is that certain? Could it have been a woman?
Oh, certainly. A man or a woman. Using this little weapon, all you need is the initial surprise. Consider now. I'm going to strangle you. Now, you've no cause to suspect me, and I'm standing quietly behind you. I put my hands round your throat. As I thought. You try and tear away my fingers. Now, strong as you are, you find it difficult because you're sitting down. Your knees are under the desk, but not impossibly difficult. You catch one of my fingers and bend. All right. Needn't be too realistic. But consider the murderer who was using a wire loop. Now, it's strong. It's as sharp as a cheese cutter. And it's an inch into your neck before you know what's happening. You can't shout, and there's nothing to catch hold of. You can't get as much as a tip of a finger between the wire and your neck. Yes, I think a woman could kill a man with a weapon like that.
I gather you want me to go through all the accounts and papers of the firm, Inspector.
Yes, Mr. Hoffman. I want to find out if they're solvent. If they are, I want to know how their profits today compare with their profits, say, 10 years ago. And I want to know about anything which doesn't quite fit in.
Very well.
I've given instructions that any books or papers you want are to be shown to you. If you find anything's being kept from you, that'll be helpful too.
Yes. I gather the late senior partner's your chief suspect.
Not anymore. He was the man who ought to have committed the murder. He was the man who had every reason for removing Smallbone, but he's out. It's virtually impossible that he could have done it.
You off now, Boone?
I think so. It's been quite a week, hasn't it?
Never a dull moment.
What about a drink?
Never known to refuse one. I'd better warn Mrs. Porter. She's on with me tomorrow.
What do you mean on? Tomorrow's Saturday.
Oh, yes, of course. You only arrived on Monday, so you wouldn't know. We always keep a skeleton staff here on Saturday mornings, you know, to tend to telephone calls, deal with any important letters.
Do you? Who has to do it?
We do it in pairs, in turn.
You mean that on Saturday mornings there are just two of you in the office? One qualified man and one secretary?
Yeah, that's the style. What's so madly exciting about it?
Tell me, who opens up the office on these occasions?
Sergeant Cockerell. Then he comes back after everyone's gone and locks up again. That's usually about 12:30.
Is there a list of who was on duty and when over the last few months?
Yeah, it's all on the notice board. Why? Do you think your copper friend will suspect we murdered the old boy on a Saturday morning? It's not a bad idea at that. Any client who comes to see you on a Saturday morning's asking for trouble.
Does it actually happen as per the list, or is it fiddled about?
The Horniman system is not susceptible to fiddling. I don't know about the girls. They may fix things among themselves. You'd have to ask them.
I expect Hazelrig will.
Excuse me, Inspector.
Of course. Come in, Hoffman. What do the firm's accounts look like?
The monetary position would seem at first sight to be fairly straightforward.
What did the total profits amount to last year?
After everything had been paid, a little short of £40,000, of which the late Mr. Horniman's share would have been £16,000.
That's not an awful lot, is it? He had that big house in Kensington to keep up, and I understand a country house as well.
A large farmhouse with about 200 acres of land in Kent.
And how do the figures compare with 10 years ago?
A gradual but marked decline. But he was solvent, I should say. All his accounts are very methodical.
Oh, am I interrupting?
No. What is it?
It's just something I thought you might find interesting. Did you realize there are a couple of people always here on Saturday mornings?
Really?
I've got the list for you.
Thank you. Yes. Interesting. I'm afraid we've been wasting our time a bit. We needn't go back any further than March the 6th. Bland said Smallbone had been dead at least 6 weeks, and probably not more than 10. 4 weeks. That means 4 men and 4 secretaries.
It lets out John Cove.
It would seem to do so. Is he there now?
Yes, shall I call him in?
Please, I'd like to ask him some questions.
John?
Coming. I'll get back to my books then.
Yes, thank you, Hoffman.
Hello, Hoffman.
Ah, Mr. Cove, come in. I'd like to hear how these Saturday mornings are worked.
Well, I'm not sure how other people manage it. When I'm on duty, I turn up 10:30. Sergeant Cockerell opens up when I arrive, or the girl, whoever turns up first. Then he pushes off. I don't know what time he gets back to lock up. About 12:30, I think, or later. But I'm always gone by then.
And does the secretary get away at the same time?
Earlier, if anything. There's not much for her to do, really.
And is this list correct for these 4 particular Saturdays?
Burley, Duxford, Bob Horniman, Crane. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right for the men, but you'd have to check with the girls.
Miss Chittering, Miss Cornell, Miss Mildmay, and Miss Belvas. Yes, I'll do that. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Cove.
Okay.
Well, it looks as if the scheme would work out quite well for a man, doesn't it? But very risky for a woman. I mean, Mr. Burley, for instance, could fix an appointment with Smallbone for midday and tell the secretary she could go at, say, 11:45. That would give him 45 minutes or more before Sergeant Cockerell came back.
Yes, and there's another thing. This weekend business explains the choice of the hiding place. The body was bound to be found sooner or later. All the murderer was hoping was that it would be hidden long enough to make it uncertain which was the fatal weekend. And it was a fair chance that it might be several weeks before anyone opened that deed box.
I'm sure I came in on February the 27th, because that was the day after my Admiral took me out to the Criterion and tried to get me tight on gin.
It was me the Saturday before. That's right, it shouldn't have been my turn at all, you remember. But Sissy Chittering asked me to take it for her. I can't think why.
A boyfriend, perhaps?
Nonsense. She doesn't know one end of a man from the other.
Well, then why does she come up to town on a Saturday morning? She lives right out at Dulwich.
Shopping?
Don't be so Victorian. Girls do their shopping during their lunch break.
Well, I've seen her in the Strand on a Saturday. I believe he works in a shop opposite Charing Cross, and she comes up to meet him at midday on Saturdays.
Can anyone tell me about the other Saturdays?
What do you want to know all this for?
Don't be silly. It's Hawkeye, the inspector. He thinks we murdered the little man on a Saturday morning.
I didn't murder him.
Of course you didn't, Florrie. If you had, you'd have told us all about it immediately afterwards. Now, these other weekends. Saturday, February the 13th, that was Sissy Chittering, of course. She did mine in return for me doing hers. March the 6th. That would have been you, Florrie.
Oh, dear. Well, if the list says so, that's right. All I know is I did my own turn.
On Saturday, February the 13th, Mr. Burley and Miss Chittering were at the office. Mr. Burley says Miss Chittering left at about 12 o'clock, and that he left a few minutes afterwards. Miss Chittering, interrogated separately, says that she left about 10 minutes to 12. She doesn't know when Mr. Burley left. On Saturday, February the 20th, Mr. Duxford was on duty with Miss Cornell. He thinks he left at about 11:30. In fact, we now know he had an appointment at his other office at 11:45. Miss Cornell says she doesn't know what time she left, but she caught the 11:50 for Sevenoaks. On Saturday, February the 27th, Mr. Horniman Jr. and Miss Mildmay were on duty. They state they left at the same time, about 12:10, and walked together as far as Holborn Circus, where they went their respective ways. Finally, we have Saturday, March the 6th, when Mr. Crane and Miss Belvas spent the morning together. Now, Mr. Crane says he's of the opinion that Miss Belvas left before he did. Miss Belvas says yes, she thinks so too. Mr. Crane says, on thinking it over again, he recollects that Miss Belvas was still in the office when he went and must therefore have left after him. Miss Belvas, re-questioned, says yes, she thinks that's right.
I think they're all lying.
This really is a ridiculous place to have put a mirror. No light falls on it at all.
I suppose it is. It's always been there, though.
Why not put it up beside the window?
Good idea, Florrie. Only someone will have to unscrew it first. We'd better get hold of Sergeant Cochrane.
Oh, why bother the sergeant? It's only 2 tiny little screws. Look, I've got a pair of nail scissors.
And goes one pair of nail scissors.
Is there anything I can do, Miss Cornell?
The general idea is to move the looking glass from behind the door to over there, beside the window.
Oh, well, the task should not be beyond our combined resources. Has anyone got a large nail file?
So long as you don't break it.
Thanks. I promise to temper vigour with discretion. There. Now, if I may use your scissors for a moment, Miss Chittering.
Well, you can't make them much worse.
Thank you. Now, is this where you want it?
Yes, that's very good.
Right then. 2 little holes. First.
Boone, Mr. Crane's ringing on the office phone for you.
Well, sorry, I'll have to leave it then.
Oh. Just like men. Begin a job and leave it in the middle. I suppose I shall have to do it myself. Hand me one of the screws, Sissy. Damn!
Oh, heavens, that's for me.
Oh, thank goodness the glass hasn't broken.
What are you up to now?
These wretched screws. I've got one of them. The other seems to have rolled. Yes, there it is. It's got under my desk. I can't quite get at it. It's lucky you're back, Mr. Boone. Could you just lift the corner of this desk?
All right. I suppose sometime I shall be allowed to do some of my own... If I lift the desk a little higher, can one of you pull it out carefully? Don't tear it.
Yes. Here he comes.
Marcus Smallbone. Is that his writing?
The dead have spoken.
Nonsense, Florrie. It may have been written months ago. Years, even. Yes, it's his writing, all right.
It doesn't look very old.
Well, there's one thing about it. It never came to this office, not in the ordinary way. Look, it hasn't been numbered or stamped. It hasn't even been punched for filing.
What does it say?
Dear Mr. Horniman, I write to confirm our arrangement. I will be at the office at 12:15 on Saturday. I hope what you will have to tell me will be satisfactory. Marcus Smallbone.
I think this ought to go straight to the inspector.
Yes. Interesting. Thank you, Boone. Did you notice anything odd about the letter?
No. Oh, except as Miss Cornell pointed out, it hadn't been filed or marked.
Didn't you think that the signature was a bit high on the paper? It had the effect of cramping the rest of the letter.
Well, the spacing did look a bit amateur, but then I don't suppose Smallbone was much of a typist.
No, I don't suppose he was. There is another thing, though. Did you look at the top left-hand corner of the paper?
No, not particularly. What should I have seen?
2 pinholes. A very important clue. I'm surprised you overlooked it.
I ought to have told Mr. Burley I couldn't possibly finish typing this engrossment tonight. I should have said 11 o'clock tomorrow was the very earliest. 6:30. Oh dear. I wonder why the light's gone so dim. I can't see properly. Oh, I'll have to finish it, I suppose. Only a few more pages. Thank goodness for that. I ought to be finished before Sergeant Cockrell comes to lock up at 7. How silent it is when nobody's here. What was that? I thought I heard someone coming up the passage. Oh. There. Locked. I probably just imagined it. These old buildings often creak at night. It's not a sound now. The handle. It's turning. If I stand on a chair, I can see who it is through the fan light. Oh, good heavens, it's you. You did give me a fright. Why ever didn't you call out to me? Just a moment. I'll open the door.
Evening, Mr. Mason.
Evening, Sergeant. Working for your overtime?
Oh, I'm just going to lock up. One of our girls is staying late. I said I'll be back at 7.
I'll walk along with you, Cockrell. How's the fuchsias?
Oh, it's early to tell. They look healthy enough, but a late frost could take them all off.
Oh, we shan't have any more frost now.
With a government like this one, you could expect a frost in August.
There's no light in your offices?
No. I expect she's gone. I'll better make sure, though. You never know with girls nowadays. Probably left the fire on. Mr. Mason.
What is it? What's up?
Have you got a telephone in your lodge?
Yes, but
Now,
what...
come on. There's no time to lose. I've got to get the police.
The same method as Smallbone. With a little luck, we should be able to alibi half of them clean out of it this time. It looks as if 6:30 to 7 is the important time. All virtuous office workers are home by 7.
They should have been home, but things don't always work out the way they should do.
We'll get onto it straight away, Plumtree. We'll need cooperation from the county police force for the people living out of London. The thing is to catch them all as soon as possible, and I want to have the reports in front of me by tonight.
At approximately 7:20, I arrived at the address which had been indicated to me in St. George's Square, Pimlico. I was informed by a lady, whose name I afterwards understood to be Miss Burley, that her brother, Mr. Burley, had not yet returned home. As I was interrogating Miss Burley, Mr. Burley arrived. He seemed surprised to see me and appeared to be considerably upset. He stated that owing to an alleged electricity cut, he had been forced to wait for 52 minutes on the platform of Charing Cross Underground Station. Such a thing had never happened to him before. He stated that, in his opinion, the government was totally...
Miss Belbas, when interrogated, stated that she had entered a Northern Line train on the Edgware branch at Tottenham Court Road Station. The train came to a halt somewhere between Mornington Crescent and Camden Town. When the train had been stationary for some considerable period, the lady next to her had asked her what she thought would happen if there was a fire. Miss Belbas had replied that they would all be burnt to death. The lady had thereupon uttered a number of hysterical screams. Miss Belbas was of the opinion that people who were unable to control themselves should not travel in underground trains.
It's all too incredible to be true. Out of the members of List 2, the possible suspects, 5 seem to have got stuck at unidentifiable spots round the London transport system.
And John Cove and Eric Duxford.
Quite. They alibi each other, and there are independent witnesses, so they're out of it. But Bob Horniman didn't go home at all. Seems he never does go home on Tuesdays. It's his landlady's night off, so on that night he eats out.
Well, that should be easy to confirm.
I'll believe it when it happens. Miss Cornell had to walk to Charing Cross, owing to crowds trying to go by bus. Missed the 6:10 for Sevenoaks, caught the 6:40. Train didn't start till 7:20, reached Sevenoaks at 8:15, saw no one she knew. Miss Mildmay left the office at about 6:20, waited for 20 minutes in Holborn for a bus, then gave it up and walked home to Kensington. Arrived at 8 o'clock. That's about the strength of it, and I'll tell you what it all adds up to. It adds up to a hell of a lot more work.
I suppose you haven't overlooked Sergeant Cockerill?
No. Now, Sergeant Cockerill saw Miss Chittering at about 6:25, and she told him she had an important engrossment to type for Mr. Burley. He said he would come back and lock the outer door at 7, by which time Miss Chittering hoped she would have finished. Sergeant Cockerill walked round to the Fall of Troy, a small public house on this side of Fetter Lane, where he spent 30 minutes drinking gin and warm water and talking to the landlord. At 7 o'clock he returned, and happening to meet one of the inn porters, walked with him to the office.
And is all that...
Oh, yes, fully corroborated. The landlord and 3 of his saloon bar cronies. Completely corroborated.
I see.
You know, I'm sorry for the girl. I mean, that goes without saying. I don't suppose she even knew why she was killed. Nevertheless, there's one thing to the good. It means that now we shall be pretty certain to catch the murderer.
How do you work that out?
I look at it like this. The first murder was prepared. The murderer was able to choose both opportunity and place carefully, and he had plenty of time to work out the angles. There are people with minds like that. The sort of mind that can cope with a double-dummy bridge problem and work out all the variations. But you face the same man with a snap decision in the actual play of the hand. That's when expensive mistakes get made.
I hope you're right.
Ah, well, routine. Sergeant Plumtree's checking on young Horniman's alibi now.
Perhaps if you could tell me which table the gentleman sat at.
I'm afraid that's exactly what I can't do.
Well, since neither of the waitresses recognised the photograph...
Thank you very much, then, madam.
But I tell you one thing. You say he was at his table for an hour. Now, I'm sure the girls would have remembered that. 6:30 to 7:30 is a very good time for tips, and well, if anyone sits on for too long after their meal, they'll get up to almost any dodge to get rid of them. I've even known them spill a whole pot of hot coffee. I should say he might have been in and out for a quick snack without their remembering him, but not for an hour. No, I'm sure of that.
Well, let's have a deco then. Oh, yeah, she's one of our regulars. Been coming up and down on this line for 15 years. She's a golfer, isn't she?
That's the one. Now, can you tell me about what time she got here last night?
Last night? You know what happened here last night, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, well, with one thing and another, what with the people who was on the trains trying to get off and the people who was off trying to get on, if my own mother had come up and spoke to me, I shouldn't have remembered it. And she's been in her grave these 10 years.
So Miss Cornell may have been on that train or she may not. That's cheering. Never mind. We've been able to check Miss Belbass's alibi.
The woman who screamed?
Yes, she came forward. Come in.
There's Mr. Heyman to see you, sir. He brought this note.
Yes. Yeah, show him in.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Plumtree, that's all.
Very good, sir.
Good morning, Inspector, isn't it?
Good morning. Sit down, won't you? Now, how can I help you?
I work for Merriweather and Matlock. You may have seen our shop. It's about halfway down the Strand. We specialise in hikers and camper stuff.
Yes, I've seen it.
I read in the newspapers about Miss Chittering being murdered in that lawyer's office. We were going to be married. She was a wonderful girl. She used to surprise me, Inspector, the things she told me about the law.
Yes. Well, now perhaps you can tell me one or two things. When did you see Miss Chittering last?
Last Saturday. She used to come up from Dulwich every Saturday. We shut up at 12:30, and then we'd have lunch and go somewhere in the afternoon. We were both very fond of pictures.
You went to the cinema?
No, real pictures. The National Gallery or the Tate. On Sundays, I'd usually go over and see her at Dulwich, and we'd go for a hike.
Did you know any other members of the firm?
Well, not to say no. Miss Cornell bought a rucksack from me once. I knew her from seeing her with Miss Chittering, but I didn't let on, of course.
Well, Mr. Heyman, it was very good of you to come forward. If there is any way in which you can help us, I'll be certain to let you know.
I am now in a position to give you an interim report on the financial position of the firm.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Hoffman. I'll study it in detail later. But before I do, can you tell me roughly what it adds up to?
Well, in a nutshell, it was a very good business once, but it's not so good now. I'll give you an example. This building is leasehold. Now, every well-run business which operates on leasehold premises puts aside a fund against the day when the lease expires. So did Horniman, Burley and Crane for many years. Then, in 1979, they stopped adding to it, and in 1980 and 81, they drew it out and spent it.
Did they?
Then, late in 1981, Abel Horniman got his hands, somehow, on quite a large capital sum. It isn't obvious, but when you look for it, you can see it. The leasehold depreciation account was built up again, and the very heavy mortgages on both of Abel's properties were reduced. Somehow, and I may say I haven't the least idea how, Abel Horniman got hold of this money. I can only tell you one thing about it. It came from outside. Maybe someone died and left it to him. Possibly he robbed a bank.
This sum of money, can you estimate how much it was?
Oh, quite a lot. £30,000 at least.
After all, murder's a serious thing. It might be one of us next.
Even so. It seems to me rather like sneaking.
Don't be your age, Anne. This isn't the sixth form of St. Ethelfrida's.
Well, you can tell him if you like.
I'm going to.
Yes. Oh, Miss Cornell, come in. You wanted to see me?
I won't keep you long, Inspector. It's about that letter, the one that we found under my desk.
Yes.
It was something we all noticed at the time. This mayn't mean much to you, but if you remember, it started, Dear Mr. Horniman. Well, that wasn't the way Mr. Smallbone ever wrote to Abel Horniman. It was always, Dear Horniman. There's quite an etiquette about these things. When you get friendly, you drop the Mr. It's not a thing you'd be likely to get wrong.
No, I appreciate that. Well, thank you very much for telling me, Miss Cornell.
You're asking me to be scientific about something that has no real scientific basis, Inspector.
In other words, we're asking you to perform the impossible. And as usual, Dr. Bland, you're going to oblige.
Soft soap. All right, so long as you don't expect me to get up in court and explain it all to a jury.
No, all I want you to do is to narrow the field. If you can indicate that certain Saturdays are more likely than other Saturdays, then we can concentrate first on the people who were in the office on those days.
Well, different parts of the body deteriorate after death at different speeds. Now, the speed of deterioration depends on a number of constant factors, and equally on a number of accidental circumstances. For instance, if the stomach happens to be full of
all
death...
right, you can skip that one.
Well, generally speaking, I have been helped a great deal in this case by the fact that the body remained, or so I have assumed, in the same very confined space and at a fairly constant temperature.
And your decision?
From the moment of discovery, death had occurred not less than 6 weeks before, and not more than 8. Does that help you?
Well, it reduces the field by 1. Mr. Burley's out of it. And poor Miss Chittering, of course. Yes. I believe it's beginning to work out.
Inspector Hazelrig told me that when you were examining Abel Horniman's private bank account, you could only find one item which you couldn't explain. As I remember, Mr. Hoffman, that was a quarterly payment of £825.
That is quite correct.
Well, it just occurred to me to wonder... It seems such an obvious suggestion, but have you tried grossing it up at 11%?
Good Lord.
I thought it was rather a coincidence.
Oh, yes, indeed. How very surprising. To think that I never noticed it.
Yes, what is it, Boone?
I wondered if I might have a word with you, Mr. Burley.
All right.
I'll come straight to the point. You know that Abel Horniman borrowed £30,000 from the Ichabod Stokes Trust and used it to bolster up the finances of the firm. That's right, isn't it?
Well, he put it all back, if he ever took it. It's never been proved.
No, it's never been proved. And if Mr. Hoffman can't spot the join, I don't suppose anyone will ever do any better. Particularly as the money was paid back to the trust almost at once, and all the interim trust accounts seem to have disappeared.
Then I scarcely see why...
But the fact that no one seems to know where Mr. Horniman got the money from to pay back the trust doesn't alter the fact that at some time or other this money will have to be paid back to whoever lent it to him.
How do you know it was a loan?
Because Abel Horniman was paying interest on the money down to the day of his death. £825. 11% per annum on £30,000.
Who was this money paid to?
The money was drawn by Abel Horniman in cash. I presume he paid that money for security reasons into a private account at another bank. Then he paid it to whoever it was he got the £30,000 from. So far, there is no indication who that is. It seems highly probable, however, that Smallbone knew, and the truth, if it had been exposed, would have resulted in ruin for Abel Horniman and disaster for his firm. That, it seems plain, is why he was killed.
You always seem to be poring over lists and figures nowadays.
It was just something I was trying to work out. Do you remember the sale of Long Half Farm?
Oh, it is inscribed on the tablets of my heart. It was the very first piece of conveyancing that I did in this office.
Can you tell me about it?
Well, if you're passionately interested, I'll get out the file. Yeah, here you are. It was quite a straightforward title. It started with, 3 straight conveyances. The first in 1910, another in 1938, and the third to Ezekiel Jedd in 1960. He died in 1966, and there's a vesting deed vesting it in his son Amos as life tenant. Amos died in 1975. Yes, there's another vesting deed in Daniel Jedd, who, without further ado, barred his entail and sold as absolute owner in 1978. Bob's your uncle.
And it was the same property all the way through? All the way from 1910 onwards, I mean.
To the last blade of grass.
Then why weren't the first 3 conveyances handed over when it was finally sold out of this office?
Now, Abel did say something about that. I can't remember what. The route of title we offered was the 1966 vesting deed.
Well, you'd have thought that the earlier deeds would have been handed over, or else the usual acknowledgement given for their safe custody.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, that does seem a bit odd. Why do you suppose Abel wanted to keep the early deeds? He never struck me as the type to go in for homemade lampshades.
No, I don't think he kept them for lampshades. Hello, Boone speaking.
Hazelrig here. We've traced that bank account. The quarterly payments were made to the Husbandman's League Friendly and Loan Society. The office is in Lombard Street.
Fine, I'll go there straight away.
Keep me posted.
What's it all about?
My idea, roughly, is that Abel Horniman forged a set of title deeds.
Good Lord.
Well, not forged, really. He effected a little rearrangement. I think he got hold of 3 solid-looking and obviously genuine conveyances, just for the sake of argument. Let's say the first 3 conveyances of Long Half Farm that we've just been talking about.
Yeah.
Now, those particular ones were very suitable, because they hadn't got a plan on them. Just a description. I think he took the last one, the 1960 conveyance, the one to Ezekiel Jedd, removed the last page, and sewed in a new one that he'd written out himself in law script.
Yes. Yes, that's plausible. He wrote a beautiful copperplate. The perfect practical conveyances.
Well, I think the page he faked had a plan on it. Furthermore, and here I'm guessing again, I think it was a plan of Abel's own farm, Crookham Court Farm.
Good Lord.
Then all he had to do was to draw up a conveyance purporting to be by Ezekiel Jedd to himself, take it down to the stamp office, have it stamped, and there you are.
Look, I may be stupid, but why did he want a second set of title deeds to Crookham Court Farm? He must have acquired a perfectly good set when he bought the place in 1976.
Well, he had to hand over the real deeds to the National Westminster Bank when he mortgaged his farm to them in 1977. Don't you think a spare set must have been quite useful when he wanted to raise the wind again in 1981?
Yes, viewed in that light, a chap could hardly have too many sets of title deeds. Where are you going?
Down to the Husbandman's League to make sure. It's known as the cufflink trick. You pawn one cufflink twice over.
I do hope that there's nothing wrong. We heard, of course, of Mr. Horniman's death. Very sad.
Yes, indeed. But about your loan, Mr. Manifold, I don't doubt that the interest payments will be kept up, for the time being anyway. But I am afraid I must break it to you that the security for the loan is illusory.
Illusory? Perhaps you'll be kind enough to explain how the security of 200 acres of freehold farming land can be illusory.
Have you got the deeds here?
Yes. I asked for the papers to be brought to me before you came.
Well, can I see? Thank you. Yes. You can see the join quite easily.
Mm-hmm.
The last page inside the back sheet. Look.
Gracious goodness. Yes, I can see it. What is your idea? That the last page is an insertion, a substitution?
That's it. And look at this. Formerly known as Long Half Farm, but now and for some years past known as Stancombe Farm in the county of Kent. He changed the Ordnance Survey numbers to correspond with his own farm, of course.
But what about our valuer? Is his report a forgery too?
When your valuer went down to Kent to inspect the farm, he would naturally get in touch with the owner to arrange an appointment.
Of course.
Well, I've no doubt Abel met him with a car, took charge of him, and showed him round his own farm, pretending it was Stancombe Farm, which we now know to be a figment of his imagination. That's why it was a plan of his own farm that he put on the forged set of title deeds.
Then can't we claim that our mortgage covers Mr. Horniman's farm, the farm our valuer saw, whatever it says on the deed?
I suppose you might, only it wouldn't do much good. It's already heavily mortgaged to the National Westminster Bank.
One thing puzzles me, Boone. According to you, Abel Horniman laid the foundations of this years ago. Did he know about the angina then?
Probably not. He knew he was running short of cash, though. But one of the real beauties of the method was that it was reversible. So long as he kept up the interest payments, he was pretty safe. Then if things looked up and he could repay the money, all he had to do was discharge the mortgage. Then he could get the deeds back and he could, well, burn them if he liked.
Yes, that part of the business seems reasonably clear now. I suppose Smallbone got to hear of Stancombe Farm, and something, we shall never know what, led him to suspect its non-existence. On February the 17th, that was Friday, he went down to make sure. We ought to have paid more attention to that remark he made to his landlady. If I find what I'm looking for, that'll be the beginning of great things. You see, he already saw himself as the centre of a cause célèbre. Well, he found what he was looking for, and I think he wrote at least 2 letters. And I think he wrote them to Bob Horniman. He may have known by then that Abel was pretty far gone. So Bob thinks the matter over and writes back, making an appointment with Smallbone for the morning of Saturday, February the 27th. Says he can explain everything.
Then I suppose he gets busy manufacturing his cheese-cutter garrote and cleans out one of the larger deed boxes. What happened next?
Smallbone confirmed the appointment. That was the letter we found, of course. It must have been written to Bob's private address. So it didn't go through the office filing system.
Written to Bob?
Yes, it took a senior secretary, Miss Cornell, to point out to me the difference between a letter starting Dear Horniman, which is what he'd have written to Abel Horniman, and Dear Mr. Horniman, which is what he'd write to Bob, whom he barely knew.
And Bob had the letter in his pocket and dropped it in the secretary's office.
Something like that. Then on Saturday morning, Smallbone comes to Lincoln's Inn at 12:15 as arranged. Bob is alone by that time. He tries argument, quite futile. So it has to be the other thing. Into the box with the body, chuck away the key, sit tight.
Have you got any direct proof?
Oh, you don't often get direct proof of murder, but it's starting to add up. The time of the second murder, for instance. 3 or 4 people haven't got a firm alibi for the time that matters, but Bob Horniman, so far as I know, is the only person who's troubled to offer us a false one.
You're sure of that?
Morally certain. I'm prepared to put every single waitress in the restaurant he says he went to that night into the box to swear they've never set eyes on him.
If you're right about the Smallbone murder, Anne Mildmay is going to be a pretty awkward witness for Bob Horniman, isn't she? She was on with him that Saturday morning. He must have asked her to say they walked together to Holborn Circus when in fact she left him alone in the office. Or if they did go out together, it must have been earlier, so that he'd have time to get back and get into the office again. He might like her out of the way.
We'll try and nail him this weekend. There's a cottage he goes to on the Norfolk coast. Goes sailing from there, they tell me.
Yes, I've always got on very well with Anne Mildmay. Why?
Could you possibly have her to stay with you this weekend, Miss Cornell?
Friday night to Sunday night?
That should cover it.
I could ask her. I suppose it's no use asking what this is all about, Mr. Boone.
I'd much rather you didn't. Just for 48 hours?
You know Horniman's at this cottage, do you, Inspector?
Yes, he arrived last night. I've got the local sergeant keeping an eye on him.
I can't see that we stand to gain anything by waiting. Take a warrant and go down this afternoon. Whether you use it or not is entirely up to you.
I don't like the looks of it, sir. 4 o'clock he brought the boat in. He'd been up and down the estuary all afternoon, beating about, getting the feel of her, you might say. He might be going to make a dash for it tonight.
Didn't he come ashore at all?
He did. Come back to the house and had his tea, which Mrs. Mullet had got for him. She does for him. You know, cleans the place, gets in the stores. She said he was asking about a telephone message he was expecting. Then he went to board again. He's been sitting there ever since.
Well, I suppose we've got to take a chance. Mr. Horniman!
Hello? Who the hell's that?
Inspector Hazelrig here. I wanted a word with you.
You've chosen a damned odd place for it.
It is rather important.
And we better not stand here shouting at each other across the water. Come on up to the cottage, Inspector. You're asking me a hell of a lot of questions, Inspector. Will you answer me just one?
If I can.
Am I supposed to have murdered Smallbone?
Well...
Look here, I've got an explanation for the apparent discrepancies in my statement, and it's got nothing to do with Smallbone's or Miss Chittering's death. I suppose if I were to give you my most solemn word that...
No, sir.
No, I didn't think so. Well, I can't prevent you nosing around, but I'm damn well not going to help you.
In that case, I have no alternative but to...
Oh, you're back, Mr. Horniman. Your telephone call came through, sir. I wrote it down like you told me. Here it is.
Thank you, Mullet. Very good of you.
Not at all, sir.
I shall have to ask you what it says.
AZ negative. Thank God for that. Excuse me a moment. I've got to telephone Sevenoaks.
Before you telephone anyone, Mr. Horniman,
Yes?
perhaps you'll explain what it's all about.
It's Anne Mildmay, of course. I'm in love with her. And when you allow me to telephone, I intend to propose to her.
And that message?
Yes. I thought... We both thought that she was going to have a child. My child. Now we know she's not. She's had an Aschheim-Zondek test. This was the result, so now it's easy. I can ask her to marry me.
I should have thought that if she had been going to have a child, you would have felt bound
That's just it. I should have felt bound. So would she. It would have been a hopeless basis for a marriage.
If you say so. Now, if you'll please explain.
Of course. Well, the evening Miss Chittering was killed, Anne and I were having dinner together at a little restaurant in Frith Street.
Do they know you there?
Well, they ought to. I've been going there on and off for the last 10 years.
Yes, well, you can give me the name afterwards. Now, what about the Saturday?
Oh, well, that really was rather awkward. You see, that was the day, well, that was when all the trouble started.
You mean to say?
Yes, I'm afraid I do.
Oh, no wonder you were too busy to answer the telephone.
What?
We traced a client who had rung no less than 3 times that morning. We thought it very suspicious.
Actually, we packed up and left at about 11:15. We didn't feel much like doing any office work. Anyway, Anne was determined we must keep the business between us dark until...
Quite. And you felt it sufficient reason to mislead the police, to give a false alibi, and to waste the time of the police in checking.
I know, of course, we oughtn't to have done it, but I thought she might turn me down if I didn't agree to do what she said. And it was only until the result of the test came through. Besides, it never crossed our minds we could be suspected of... Please, do you think I could call Anne? She's staying with Miss Cornell.
God's fresh air. God's free fresh air. What the hell? It's
Rob Horniman's out of it. A Saturday morning alibi isn't much, coming from a girl he's going to marry. But the 2 murders were quite definitely committed by the same pair of hands. The post-mortem marks on the neck show that. The fractional left-handed pull which hallmarked both killings. It must be the same person. So if the Soho restaurant confirms Horniman's alibi for the time of Miss Chittering's murder, then he's definitely out of it. There's that letter from Smallbone, of course, but it could be a plant. Those pin marks. Some people pin checks to a piece of paper with their signature on it. Lawyers get them every day. So remove the check and type a letter on top of the signature. Forgery without tears.
You see them going off from Paddington, Torquay painting and places like that. Piles and piles of luggage. I don't call that a holiday.
No, do I.
But take a nice large rucksack.
God in heaven, what idiots we've
I
been.
beg your pardon?
When does this train stop?
It doesn't stop. It's straight through to London.
Well, then stop it, we must. Plumtree? Now listen. Just listen and don't ask questions. I've just stopped the Cromer Express, and I reckon I've got about 2 minutes. Get hold of that chap Heyman, the shop assistant in that bag shop in the Strand. Yes, Miss Chittering's boyfriend. I want to find out when Miss Cornell bought a rucksack there. Now, was it on the morning of, let me see, Saturday, February the 20th? Play fair, don't lead him on the date. If he isn't at home, put out a general alert. But find him. Right. This train is now due at Liverpool Street at 10:15, and I want you to get the information and meet me at the station with a police car and a good driver. Yes, I know it doesn't give you much time.
You look as though that telephone call brought good news, Anne.
It did. Bob's asked me to marry him.
And what did you say?
I said yes.
In my day, that sort of thing was down to soft lights and sweet music, not over the telephone.
There were complications. Well, I suppose I've been making a silly fuss. But I thought I was pregnant, and I didn't want a shotgun wedding. I mean, I'd never have known if he would have married me if he hadn't got to.
Involved.
But now I know I'm not pregnant, so I can come clean about everything. That Saturday morning we were on duty together. Well, actually.
Not what one expects in a Horniman office.
We went off to Norfolk together on the midday train. And we were having dinner together in a restaurant on the night Miss Chittering was killed. I hope the police aren't going to be furious about the stories we made up.
They'll get over it. So everything's splendid for you. Engaged and cleared in the eyes of the law at one stroke.
Well, but you can't think the police suspect...
I'd rather think things weren't looking too good for Bob Horniman. Now you can clear him. Or clear each other. We must have a drink to celebrate. Here we are. Whiskey. Will you open the bottle while I fetch glasses?
Oh, of course.
Yes. Doubles, don't you think? Here you are. To you.
It's strong, isn't it?
It should be. It's genuine Glenlivet. I had this bottle given me when I won the open putter on the Octolori course. One more for your intended.
Oh, I don't think...
It'll make you sleep.
The funny thing is, I can hardly keep my eyes open now.
I wonder if everybody's been as stupid as I have. That letter from Smallbone, beginning Dear Mr. Horniman, as Miss Cornell so carefully pointed out, of course it was planted by her. That dropped screw was a manoeuvre, and a clumsy manoeuvre at that, to give her an excuse to produce the letter from behind her desk. She thought that things were beginning to point to her, so she decided to implicate Bob. Ah, good. Sevenoaks at last. And why didn't we remember that playing golf develops your wrist? Anne Mildmay could be in danger. It's she who's giving Bob an alibi for that Saturday morning. They were on duty together. And it's my fault that she went to stay with Miss Cornell, so it's my responsibility that nothing happens to her. A fork right here, I think. Of course. Miss Cornell did her Saturday with Eric, and on his usual form he'd be in for 10 minutes and away. Anyway, he had an appointment at his other office. And then all that speculation about the key of the deed box. Of course, the one person who could easily lay hands on it was Miss Cornell. And she could fix the appointment with Smallbone any time she wanted. As for Miss Chittering's death, she'd no real alibi for that at all. Nobody remembered her on the train, and she lived alone. Ah. Getting near now. Oh, good. A policeman.
Excuse me, I'm looking for a bungalow called Red Roofs. A Miss Cornell lives there.
Oh, that's 500 yards along on your right, sir.
I wonder, would it be possible for you to come along with me?
Well, you'll find a policeman there already, sir, an Inspector Hazelrig.
She's pleading guilty to the murder of Smallbone. She insisted on it. But I think she ought to get the maximum remission of sentence.
You mean taking into consideration that she'd no motive of personal gain, that it was all devotion to Abel Horniman and so on?
Yes, and as for Miss Chittering's murder, she's not being charged.
Huh?
The law officers don't advise it, which is as well for Miss Cornell, because that wasn't so pretty.
Oh, she was fighting for her life, I suppose.
Yes. It's odd, you know. The purchase of that rucksack provided the single thin, unbreakable thread which linked the body of Marcus Smallbone to the left luggage office at London Bridge Station.
I still don't see why a rucksack.
Well, let me explain. Miss Cornell decides to kill Smallbone, who is going to expose the fact that Abel Horniman had, by a fiddle, got 2 separate mortgages on the same property. Now, she has to devise a hiding place where the body may lay hidden for some little time. And what better than a Horniman deed box? So handy, so capacious, and so fortunately airtight. But what is she to do with all the papers and files in it?
Of course, the rucksack.
Exactly. So on that very Saturday morning, she buys one, dumps the papers in it after she's put Smallbone's body in the deed box, and leaves it in the London Bridge left luggage office. It was a bit of bad luck that the rucksack was sold to her by Miss Chittering's fiancé, who recognized her and told Miss Chittering about it. Who blurted it out in front of virtually the whole staff.
Including me. She kept her head at the time and just turned the conversation.
Yes, but I reckon she knew from that moment what would have to be done.
Poor Miss Chittering. As you say, not a pretty business.
Do you think I was drugged that night? At Sevenoaks?
You had a very advanced hangover the next morning. I think it was 2 glasses of neat whiskey coupled with excitement.
And what was I supposed to be excited about?
The prospect of marrying a farmer. The joke of it is that I decided to take up farming to get away from paperwork. And now, milk market cows in calf, feeding stuffs, estimated quantities, and I haven't even got a secretary.
No, you haven't.
In Small Bone Deceased, dramatised for radio by Nestor Payne, from the novel by Michael Gilbert, Howell Bennett played Inspector Hazelrigg, Dominic Gard, Henry Boone, John Rye, John Cove, and Jill Simcox, Miss Cornell. Anne Mildmay was played by Jenny Funnell, Bob Horniman, Andrew Branch, Mr. Burley, Peter Howell, Miss Belbus, Susie Brand, Miss Chittering, Elaine Claxton, Sergeant Plumptree, Andrew Alston, Miss Tasker and Mrs. Mullet, Pauline Letts, Sergeant Cockerill and Sergeant Rolls, Manning Wilson, Assistant Commissioner, Edward D'Souza, Miss Magaley, the housekeeper and the manageress, Sheila Grant, Gissel and Heyman, Brian Hewlett, Dr. Bland, Kim Wall, Mr. Mason and Manifold, Alan Dudley, and Hoffman, Richard Durden. The play was directed by Glyn Dearman.
Maria?
Where are you, Leandro?
To the right of the red banner. Where are you?
On the other side. Come on. Hey, careful.
Come over this side, Cosita. It's too crowded there. There's too many police. Maria, over here. I don't think it's safe.
I can't move anywhere just now. I called you at the restaurant.
I called you at the restaurant.
I left you down.
Maria? 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 Hello, Maria? Maria!
The Mecklington Miracle by Hannah McGill and Rachel McGill.
Good morning, love. Give us a kiss. There's a cup of tea for you on the breakfast bar.
What are you making them noises for?
Oh, sorry, Doc. We're just in a good mood. We finally got the new Echo T612 handset in.
Oh, I'm very excited. Darren, what's in this cup? I don't think it's tea.
It is. It's special. They sell it in the new health shop. It's made out of chickpeas or something.
You've been watching them programmes again about having a lifestyle?
No. It was a doctor. He said that herbs and that was good for people with conditions like yours, especially at times of stress.
What it's like what hedgehog would drink.
Yeah, love. Shall I read you out the paper?
All right.
Right, wait up. Oh, it says, a 4-year-old boy in Birmingham miraculously survived on cream crackers and fish food for 8 days after his mum disappeared on her way back from the bingo.
Oh, lucky him. We never used to have cream crackers.
Reports have emerged of a violent riot at an electronics factory in Colombia. Undisclosed numbers of protesters are thought to have died after shooting broke out at a demonstration over workers' rights.
But it doesn't sound like nothing when it's so far away. Read me the local news. I need to know what's happening in Mecklington. Somebody might have bred a prize sheep or lost 4 stone on Weight Watchers. Read me what that blonde woman's on about.
Lisa Haywood. She's on about the new restaurant and the opening ceremony and that. Did you know they're having a 6-piece salsa band?
Oh, Darren, I don't want to think about it. Does it say out about me?
Of course it does. All Mecklington is agog at the prospect of seeing Jessica Bailey, the town's own sleeping beauty, emerging from her castle for the very first time to open this exciting new Miracle Enterprises venture.
Sleeping Beauty, they're going to be disappointed, aren't they?
You're gorgeous, love. Drink your chickpeas.
I overheard Mrs. Holland with the autistic son and Mrs. Shelby with the wig outside at the bus stop.
You know you're not meant to open the window.
And Mrs. Holland said, isn't it exciting about our Jessica after all this time? And Mrs. Shelby said, I don't know, love, I'm dead worried about her.
Well, that's nice, Jess. That they're worried about you.
Well, I'm worried about me too.
I'll be there the whole time.
I know you will. Darren, someone's ringing us on the T612.
You heard the new ringtone? It's Spanish, like salsa music.
Well, who is it?
No one.
What do you reckon to the plonk, then? I can get you a case. 25% off if you're interested. I know this bloke who's in vineyards. Bought up half of Spain. Pedro! Over here, amigo! Get us another bottle of the old vino. Entiendo. El vino.
Otra botella de vino rojo, señor.
Oh, that's the ticket. Fantastic, isn't he? He's authentic. Ain't you, mate? Genuine Espanol.
Sí, señor. Soy de Madrid.
He's from Madrid. Can you believe we found him in Mecklington? Place is getting dead cosmopolitan. He don't speak a word of English, but you know me, lads. I'm broad-minded. Oh, excuse me.
Algo más, señor?
Oh, that means anything else. Pedro, say anything else.
Anything else.
Fantastic. Listen, amigo. I want you to teach Ross to speak like that. You teach Ross anything else, and could evening, and are you ready to order? See? I reckon Ross could pass for Spanish. He's got that greasy skin.
Sí, señor.
Oh, yeah, teach him that too. Ross ain't as daft as he looks. He's got an NVQ in woodwork. Now, off you go and see to Darren and Lisa. Hiya, Darren. Hiya, Lisa. Sorry about that, gents. You know I like to take care of my staff. Where were we? Oh, yeah. You know, I remember when this town were nothing but a church, a road, and a power station. It's a miracle, is what it is. A Miracle Enterprises miracle. Let's have a toast to Miracle Enterprises.
Buenas tardes, señor, señorita. Bienvenido a Mecklington Chorizo.
Buenas tardes, sweetie.
What did he say?
Is red wine still your tipple, Darren?
Well, I don't know, Lise. I'm not really supposed to drink because of work.
I thought you had the afternoon off.
Yeah, but they still might call me if it's really important.
Do you really think there's going to be a mobile phone emergency?
There might be. Because one time, right, Sadie Gosthorpe got her SIM card stuck in her handset, and it was the new Astel 1211, which is made, like, dead narrow at the back, and they had to call me in, even though it was my day off, because I was the only bloke that knew how to get it out.
Let's take a chance, darling. I bet you could fix any phone, even if you were off your face.
I probably could, yeah. Bottle of red, please, mate, and a hot meaty tapas selection for two. That do you, Lise? Oh, I have you turned into a vegetarian from being around all them hippie students.
No, Darren. The hot and meaty tapas selection sounds lovely. Muchas gracias.
No hay de qué, señorita.
Yeah, cheers. And tell Barry it's for Darren.
Sí, señor.
I get mates rate here. Miracle Enterprises Business Link Loyalty Scheme. We give them 3 minutes, they give us discount. Mind you, I might have to have a word about that waiter. Didn't like the way he were looking at you.
Don't be daft, Darren. That's how people look at each other in Spain. It's very passionate. Haven't you been? Oh, no. I'm being stupid. I don't suppose you've been anywhere, have you, because of Jess?
Not really.
Such a shame.
The way I see it, Lise, I can get everything I need in Mecklington. We've got this place now, the cinema, the ice rink. It's not like when we was kids. Mind you, no one ever thought you'd come back, big city girl and all that.
I think the most important things can happen in the smallest places, don't you? How is Jess?
Oh, she's, you know, but she's much better, actually.
I think it's so sweet how loyal you are to her. Everyone does.
Yeah.
Although there was that time at Michelle Tompkins' 18.
Yeah.
I still want to know where you learned to do that. Anyway, you know how much we love Jess at the Echo. You know how much the whole town loves her. She's the only one of the Miracle Factory babies left, and that means something to all of us.
You're not meant to call them the Miracle Factory babies no more. I mean, because it wasn't Miracle Enterprises' fault. It was an accident. We just call them the Miracle babies now.
But they all died except Jess. How's that a miracle?
Oh, Lise, don't talk like that. They're miracles because the short time they were with us was miraculous for their parents and for all of Mecklington. And even though they're gone, that can never be taken away.
Oh, right. That's beautiful, Darren. Really moving. I'll have to quote you in my piece.
What piece?
That's what I was getting to. We want to run a feature on Jess about her life and how far she's come.
She's just been in her room.
Yeah, but in her heart, Darren. In her heart, she must have been on quite a journey.
Suppose.
Grassy house? Oh, yes, that's very nice.
Senor?
Cheers.
When Jess cuts the ribbon for this place, it'll be a defining moment in the history of Mecklington. So what they want is for me to interview her in depth, and then we'll do some pictures. It'll be a special full-colour spread, maybe even a pull-out souvenir section. Your shop could advertise.
We've got some ace-colour graphics of the new winter models.
It'll be my first big exclusive.
Jess don't like to talk about how it happened, though.
Oh, of course not, Darren. It'll just be two girls together. I imagine we'll end up talking about makeup.
I wouldn't have thought so.
Oh, no. I suppose she can't really put makeup on, can she? With all them sores. Has she still got the sores?
Not like before.
She must be dead pale, though, from not going outside.
Well, she hasn't been on holiday to Spain recently.
I could interview you and all, Darren, about your life together.
Yeah? You'd put me in it? Local businessman?
Communications expert? Hazel-eyed communications expert?
Well, look, Lise, I don't see the harm, but I'll have to talk to her, because she doesn't normally see people like, ever. Just one thing, though.
Spit it out, Darren.
Jess don't know out about Michelle Tompkins, 18.
Our little secret, babe. Oh, sorry. Switch that off.
You got the new Oracle Handy Micro-Organizer with the extendable memory card and 40 megabytes of RAM, didn't you? Can I have a look? Yeah, that's it. The peacock blue. We had to order it in special. Did that ringtone come with it, or did you download it?
It's the one it had when I got it.
Oh, Lisa. There's 200 things for you to choose from on the memory card alone. Not to mention the vast range of commercially available polyphonic ringtones compatible with this model.
Wow, really? Why don't you tell me more about it when I come over? I'll chat to Jess and then you can show me.
How to get the best out of your chosen network and service. Lisa, you've come to the right man. Is it just me? Or has that waiter been... Oi, mate! Can we help you with summit?
Senor?
Less earwigging and more fetching my tapas platter, if you don't mind, amigo.
Gesundheit.
You what?
So, this is the husband. Poor Jessica Bailey. Ross, I'm going outside now to smoke. It's raining again on Mecklington. Lluevecita de mierda que no para. Senor Boss says I must be mad to come here. Yes, like the little song on the local radio which is burning to my brain. I'm mad for Mecklington. It's true that this place is small, damp and grey. Vacío. It's true that people here sneeze more than they smile. But what the boss does not realize, what none of them realize, is that Mecklington is the place where the next chapter will begin. As soon as I can meet Jessica Bailey, I am the last of 6, and so is she. Mecklington is the place where justice will be done.
October 19th, 2:30 p.m. Weather overcast. Lisa Hayward is coming to talk to me. I know some things about Lisa Hayward. She's the same age as me. Her mum worked in the factory too, but not while she was pregnant, so Lisa weren't born funny. On March the 3rd, 1989, she came to visit me on a school trip. The children came in 2 by 2 and looked at me, and Lisa was with Melanie Whitworth, and Melanie asked me if it was true that my skin peeled off in big strips, and Lisa hit her on the arm. And on August 23rd, 1996, Darren made a fwa noise about her when he thought I weren't listening. Then after that, Lisa went to university, and everyone was excited because that's something people from Mecklington don't usually do. The Echo had a picture of her in a mortarboard hat with her mouth open, and it said underneath that the world was her oyster. She must be allergic to seafood because she came straight back here. She could go anywhere. And she came back here.
Jess, are you ready, Doc? Can we come in?
Come in? Well, I thought I was going to come out. No one ever comes in my room.
But Lisa wants to see it, love. She says it's important for her article.
Darren, I think you and I need to have an urgent private meeting.
I'll be here the whole time. Nothing bad can happen, Jess.
Well, tell her she's not allowed to touch anything. Or think things.
Don't worry, love. Ready, Lise? Deep breath.
Hey, Jess. No, it's a long time now. Where are you?
Your eyes will get used to the dark.
Oh, not told me.
What is that?
It's a great grey owl from Scandinavia.
Oh.
Don't worry, it's already dead. Stuffed, isn't it?
You can sit on the bed if you want.
Really? Is that cool? Oh, I see. This is the bed. Gosh.
Well, I don't use it to sleep in. You can put those on the floor.
Where do you sleep?
I hang from the ceiling like a bat.
She's just joking.
I love all your little noises and stuff.
I wanted it to be like a jungle with animals that live in the dark. Like me.
You can go outside soon, Jessie. You're getting stronger all the time. Maybe not the jungle, but Mecklington to start.
Do you mind if I switch my dictaphone on?
No, but I have to switch mine on too.
Are you worried I'm going to misquote you?
Jess just likes to keep records about everything. Silly stuff mostly, ain't it, love?
We're not going to talk about anything you don't want to, Jess. Let's start with the two of you, shall we? Your love story. It's such an inspiration to everyone in Mecklington. Excuse me.
Have you got a cold? Only our Jess isn't supposed to be exposed to stuff.
Everyone sneezes in Mecklington.
I think it's the smell of it.
But that's the smell of rafflesia. Do you know what rafflesia is?
No, come up the window.
Darren nailed my window shut. Because of germs.
Well, why don't you tell me about
rafflesia? It's the world's largest flower. It's known as the corpse flower.
It smells of rotting meat.
It has no stem, no roots, and no leaves. It grows for a year, and then it blooms for a week, and then it dies.
You've got one in here?
No, silly. The climate in here wouldn't be right for rafflesia. It grows in the rainforests of Indonesia. I got my friend to make me the smell and send it me.
Make you the smell?
Yeah, Jess has got all funny mates on the net.
He makes lots of smells. I also got him to make me the smell of a tiger and the smell of after a bomb goes off.
Okay, where were we? Why don't you two tell me about how you got together?
I live next door, didn't I, Jess?
Yes, Darren lived next door and he used to come and play with me and tell me about outside. We got married when we was 9 in Darren's mum's basement. It was in case I died. We got married properly when we were 17, and Miracle Enterprises gave us this house to say sorry for my mum's accident, and they gave Darren a job at the phone shop.
Oh, talk of the devil. No rest for the wicked. Excuse us a sec.
So, how was it between the two of you?
I don't know. Darren's not like a separate person. It'd be like talking to you about my leg. Or my elbow.
We can talk about whatever you like, Jen. How did you feel when Miracle Enterprises asked you to come out and cut the ribbon?
I was frightened. I didn't know if I was meant to bring my own scissors.
I would have thought you'd be angry at Miracle Enterprises, Jess, for telling your mum it was safe when she was pregnant when it wasn't.
The lady on the phone said they wanted to be a part of my big day and they wanted me to be a part of theirs. And she said that the boss of the whole company is going to be there. Catherine Porter, who is the 3rd richest woman in the world. Miracle Enterprises have looked after me since I was little. They paid for me and Darren's wedding.
You've read the stuff in the Echo about the Mecklington snipper, haven't you? How some people reckon the factory's making us all ill.
Sorry about that, girls. How's it going? Hope not turning out too personal, Jess.
We were just talking about your wedding, Taryn.
That was some day, weren't it, Jess? We had 20 crates of champagne, the best.
You live well, thanks to Miracle Enterprises, don't you, Darren?
Yeah, she's looking a bit poorly, Lise. Probably time for a nap, all right? You could come back.
Tomorrow. Come back tomorrow.
2 mushroom miracles, 1 with prawns and 1 without. And 1 shop steak surprise. Chef, this order is for Senor Boss and his friends, so he asks you to use the olive oil and not the economy fry fast. I'm going outside to smoke. The boss is having lunch with 2 doctors today who wrote a letter to the paper about sneezing. So the boss is saying, think your surgery could do with a new reception area and some state-of-the-art equipment. Nothing is a problem for the boss. He's the most generous man in town. In the Mecklington Chorizo, it is always Christmas. Just like we had Christmas in Puerto Olvido for a while. In Puerto Olvido we have the sea and the sunshine. I'm in Colombia, but I can see the ways in which these 2 places are the same. The way that the bosses flatter and assist each other. The way it all leads back to the factory on the hill. I have written to Jessica Bailey. When she knows what these people are capable of, she will help me. I have said, call me at the restaurant. The code Maria and I used to use.
This was stuck in the letterbox, Jess. It's for you.
For me? No one writes letters to me. Darren can open it. Here. Darren usually makes the tea, so don't blame me if it's all the wrong colour.
Thanks, Jess. You're a star.
Yeah, I've been dead for years, but you can still see me.
Oh, Jess, don't say that. You're not dead. I was just going to say you look really well. I mean, now that I can see you a bit, I'd never know you were ill at all.
I'm not really supposed to come down here in the daylight, but I do sometimes when Darren's at work.
Have you ever looked stuff up about your condition?
Well, Darren does that. He talks to the doctors and tells me what they say. I don't like thinking about it much. But if you want to write about it, I'm sure Darren can tell you.
Only 'cause I went on the net a bit and I found some stuff out about other people who are ill, a bit like you, in all places like Rio and Brazil and stuff. And some people think it's 'cause they work in factories.
Well, their factories must be like our factory was before they painted it and made it safe. Someone should tell them how to do it.
And some people were saying how all the electronic companies pretend they're enemies, but really it's all owned by the same one or something.
Like the way that Miriam Cobb from the flower shop and Roger Briggs from the bank are rude to each other in public so no one knows they're having an affair.
Are they?
I overheard Mrs. Ravenscroft at the bus stop.
Don't blame Miriam. Poor duck can't have kids, can she? And Kevin acts like it's her fault. Eh? I read something about infertility and all. Some of these people working in the factories and think you've got it. Maybe we do here. 'Cause there's Miriam, there's Karen Wanacott, and Shell had to have that IVF.
Yeah, but that could be because of talking on a mobile with a higher SAR rating. The Vector 800's got the lowest. Thing is, though, it don't come with good bundle of features.
You know what, Jess? I'm getting a bit sick of writing all them articles about how to disguise chunky thighs or throw together a delicious casserole out of leftovers. I reckon we should try and do a hard-hitting investigation thing. We've never had one of them in the Echo.
I always wanted to be a spy. But they have to go outside.
We could find loads of stuff out, and then you could do a speech at the opening and ask Catherine Porter all questions about it, and she'd get embarrassed, like on the telly with politicians. And they might want to do something about it in the Sheffield Courier.
I'll have to ask Darren.
I'll ask him for you.
It's nice to
see you both again. Last time you was in, I says to myself, who's the lucky fellow with our Lisa Haywood? And then I saw it with you, Darren.
Yeah.
How's our little angel?
Jess, oh, she's all right. Looking forward to a big night.
Oh, we all are, mate, we all are. Great days from Micklington. Excuse me. I've got a couple of counsellors and the headmaster coming in for lunch. We're going to discuss a little health promotion, trying to get the kids to eat more meat.
Is that foreign bloke here today?
Yeah, he's about. Like him, do you? Want me to send him over for that continental touch?
Yeah, if you would, mate. Oh, don't. Barry's all right.
Yeah. I don't want people gossiping, though, Darren.
It's not like anything's happened between us since, like, 1998.
I know.
No one here would believe I'd ever look at another woman. Or that anyone would look at Jess.
Well, she is very special, Darren. I mean, all the time I've spent chatting to her, I've got quite attached to her.
Yeah, she's ace. But sometimes, Liz, a man wants to be with a woman what knows how to be a woman. You know, has a smashing top.
Darren, no. I want to talk to you about important stuff.
This is important.
No, I mean like how I've decided to be an investigative journalist and Jess is going to help me. And you couldn't know. God, I wish you didn't have them eyes. It makes it really difficult. Here, have some more calamari.
No, thanks. That's queer stuff.
Come a bit closer, Darren. No, not for that. This is private, is all. I've been doing all this research about batteries and that, and I want to say something in my article about how it's outrageous what happened to Jess, and it might still be happening to other people. Did you know that? I mean, they're in Peru or something, but still...
This is politics, isn't it? You don't need to worry yourself about all that. Look at you.
But don't it break your heart, Darren, to see little Jess sitting there and not fulfilling her potential?
It breaks my heart to see us sitting here not having a snog.
Did you see on the telly about the chemical spill in Russia that poisoned a river and killed 4 tons of fish?
I might have, but there's loads of fish, Lisa. That's what they say. Plenty more fish in the sea.
And what about the thing last month in Mexico where lots of people were shot because they were on a demo about workers' rights?
That's them trade unionists.
Yeah, but it's not like here. They were just asking for normal stuff that they don't even have in them countries, like can they have a tea break? And there was this thing in America where this woman lost all her hair.
Yeah, poor duck.
I know you work for Miracle Enterprises, but Jess has got to be more important to you, right?
Hold on a minute.
Darren!
Oi, you! Yeah, you, mate! In the apron! I want a word with you.
Senor?
It was you, weren't it? You left a note for my wife. What are you doing leaving notes for my wife?
Darren!
Senor Darren, please be quiet. Please don't talk about this in here. It's not safe. You're the one who's not safe.
You sweaty? There you go. What was all that stuff about we must talk? And I was meant to find you. Do you think just because you're foreign the rules don't apply to you? Or is it that you think she's fair game because she's handicapped? Don't know how they do things wherever you come from, mate, but in Mecklington, we've got some bloody respect for the union of marriage.
Darren, stop asking notice, please.
You bleeding greasy head, white-swapping foreign pods.
No más. Imbécil malparido. I am probably the best friend your wife has. Although she doesn't know it yet. You don't know what you're talking about, like everybody else in this dead-end town. You're stupid and blind.
I know you're not even blooming Spanish. Frank Leonard came in the shop today and he said he taught Spanish to you and you weren't doing it right.
No, I am a Colombian. A proud Colombian from one of the best families in Puerto Olvido. Huh? It's you who should be waiting on me. Jode puta.
Pedro, get off that customer. You're not on a bullfight now. Darren, this isn't like you.
Oh, yeah. Off you go then. I'll catch up with you.
Wait, where did you say he was from? Puerto Olvido. That's where it was with the tea breaks. Wait, what's your name? Pedro, I need to talk to you. Come back.
Lee?
Where's that Spanish twit gone?
He's Colombian.
He's fired is what he is. Get up, Darren. What was all that about, eh? Let's get your nose cleaned up and pour you a brandy. I'm glad you come by, actually. Been meaning to have a chat. Come and sit at the head table over here. I've got a little proposition for you.
You were one of them. That's something.
The owls, weren't you?
Why should I talk to you? You have exposed me in public. Now they know I am not who I say I am.
So, what are Darren and Barry Chase going to do?
You understand nothing. Nada. Darren and Senor Boss are part of something that is bigger than Mecklington. They're in contact with people who know me and want me shot.
Shot? What? Ted? I don't think so, mate. I mean, I know all that stuff happens in Colombia, but this is Mecklington.
Maybe that's about to change.
Really? Why are you here? Why come all the way here from Colombia?
I have my reasons. Solo yo sé.
Are you trying to make like a global network of people who care about companies that abuse people and stuff? Because I'll be your representative in Mecklington, because I might just look like a pretty face, but actually I'm an investigative journalist, and I know all about people in Brazil what can't have babies, and dead fish in Argentina.
All that is nothing.
Well, tell me.
There is no one in this town I can trust except Jessica. And her rape of her husband keeps her from me.
I'm on your side, Pedro, or whatever your real name is. I'm trying to persuade Jessica to do a speech at the opening to ask Catherine Porter all these questions.
If you're really on my side, you should be more careful what you say in public. And don't trust the evil with the mobile telephones.
What? Darren? Don't worry about him. I'm going to get him on our side, and I'm going to take you to Jess.
Are you sure you didn't say one of your silly things?
No, Jess. You have to keep going on about it. Just go and get me some ice.
But Darren, you got hit in the face. That's not happened since February 20th, 1996, when you had a fight with Paul because he sat on your Oracle 80.
Well, this weren't about phones. It was just some nutter. There's some weird people in town just now. Foreigners and that. Maybe they're them asylum seekers.
Darren?
What?
Well, that was one of your silly things. It's silly to talk like that about weird foreigners and asylum seekers.
I'll say what I want to. I'm a free agent.
A free agent or a secret double agent? How do I know you didn't get hit by a jealous husband because of an illicit love thing?
Well, that's funny coming from you, Jess. Don't get mardy just because I went out and had a couple of drinks with a mate. You have to disapprove of everything.
But which mate were you with? Who were you mating with?
I'm just saying, do you never think it would be nice to fit in for a change, have a bit of fun?
Darren, you've changed your tune. I thought you liked the way we live. We have projects and games and nobody gets punched in the face.
Things can't stay the same. Change isn't always bad.
Well, I think it usually is.
Well, get used to it, Jess. Because some things are going to change around here. Don't give me them tapes of you and Lisa. I know you've been recording everything. I want to hear what you've been talking about.
But Darren, it's private between me and her.
I'm your husband. Nothing's private from me. And I don't want you seeing her no more. She's going to get you into trouble. She's going to get us both into trouble. Go get them tapes and then take your pill and go to bed. I'm not going to tell you again. Hiya? Yeah, good idea. I'll be there in a bit. I'm off out.
Who with?
Don't wait up.
October 21st. Darren thinks that change is good. And he has changed into a different Darren who shouts at me and punches people, not about phones. I might have to do a thing I've never done before. I might have to run away and hide from him. Outside. The sun's going down, so I might be all right. But I don't know the way to anywhere. Hello?
Is it safe?
I'm not sure anymore.
Has your husband gone out?
Yes. Who are you?
My name is Leandro. I come from Puerto Olvido, in Colombia, and I belong to a gang called Las Lechuzas, which means owls in Spanish, and I am your friend.
I'm interested in owls.
This is a nice surprise. Candles and all. They're late for dinner, but I'm dead flattered.
We need to talk, Darren.
Yeah. We can talk after.
What did Barry J say to you?
Oh, it's going to be aceless. Because they're going to give me my own shop. Because demand for mobile phones in Mecklington has increased by 60% in the last 12 months.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I reckon we should have a drink to celebrate, don't you?
seems like you've had quite a lot already.
Can't I get drunk once in a while? Got drunk with you a couple of times in the past, if I remember rightly.
I'll make you coffee first so you can sober up.
I don't drink coffee, Lise. You know why not? Because it makes me randy. That skirt, really? God, you're beautiful.
Stop it, Darren.
What did you ask me for then? What you got them clothes on for? Come on, admit it. You finally realised you can't live without me for one more minute, haven't you?
Yes, something like that. I need you to concentrate, Darren. Jess and I, we really need your support with some...
Anything, Lise. Anything you say.
Darren, don't look at me like that. Something's going to happen.
Yeah, something's going to happen. Stop talking.
We mustn't.
Why? Is it not nice? Do you not like it?
You know it is. You know I do. I never got over you.
Is it as nice as what I did at Michelle Tompkins' 18th?
Nicer. Listen, Darren, you have to help me. There's something's going to happen at the opening. I'm worried about Jess.
Oh, everyone's always so worried about Jess. Oh, she's so sick. She can't go outside. Her skin will fall off. No, it flipping won't. She's fine now. She's been fine for years. That's the big joke. They just didn't want to bring her out and show her off till they were ready.
And you wanted to keep her inside and keep your nice little life as a local celebrity.
No, that's not what I wanted. There's only one thing I ever wanted, Lise. Honest to God.
There was a very big funeral for the other 5 babies, and Mrs. Roscoe knitted each of them a matching hat. Maybe so they could recognise each other in heaven.
How did those people feel when their babies died?
Sad, then important, then rich.
Is that how you feel too?
I don't really know how I feel.
You see, I know how I felt when I lost my baby.
You lost a baby too?
The 5 other people in my group were all shot. Los cinco. We hadn't broken any law. We were just asking questions and protesting against injustice. My girlfriend Maria was one of them. And she was pregnant with our child.
But if you know who did it...
The police did it, and no one can prove they were paid to do it for the company. They have the police, the government, and the military on their side. And the US government too, Los Gringos. They will all help each other, and they are the ones with the power, not us. How does that make you feel?
Angry, I think.
Exacto.
But I'm not sure, because I don't think I've ever felt angry before.
Will you help me, Jess, at the opening? With this? No, don't be scared. I will never hurt you. I just need you to look after it for me for a little while.
I don't think I look after things like that. I've only ever seen them in films.
Everybody will be searched except you. You must take this in for me, hidden in all your scarves. I will take it from you inside. And then I will shoot La Señorona Porter, the 3rd richest woman in the world.
And then what?
And the next day in the newspaper, your journalist will tell everybody why.
One little wait.
Well, they like the extra cash, and Miracle Enterprises can afford it. We'll have 6 on Miss Porter and 5 on Jess. All armed, of course, and all exits covered. That little Brazilian runt won't have a hope in hell.
Armed? Guns like?
Don't look so scared, Darren. They're on our side. Cheers for the tip-off, mate. Miss Porter's very impressed at how you've helped us out. I'm not promising nothing, but I wouldn't be surprised if she finds a villa in Spain with your name on it to thank you for your assistance today.
Ace? Lisa loves Spain. I have to keep my eye on her, though.
Don't worry. It's obvious she's daft about you. Always has been.
Yeah. Jess needed me, see, but me and Lise, I reckon we was always meant to be together.
You've done your bit for Jess now. You've helped her get ready for the big world. Now she needs to find her own way.
We've not got that much in common, really.
No, because she's really brainy, isn't she? Don't say anything yet, but I'm going to offer her a part-time job in HR up at head office. Flexi time, loads of perks.
Oh, cheers. Be a weight off my mind.
Oh, the lovely Lisa. Looking stunning tonight as ever. Lucky man, Darren, lucky man.
Is she all right?
Not really. She's a bit shaky.
Why? Did you tell her?
Don't be daft, Darren. She's about to go up and do a speech. We'll tell her after. Yet that means you can't hold me hand while she's on stage.
All right, Lise. But we've got to tell her straight after. It's only fair. Because I don't know if I can keep my hands off you that long.
Oops. Excuse me, would you, officer? I'm on. Thank you. Are we on? Well, what a night it is for Mecklington. All together now, everyone. I'm mad for Mecklington. Yes, you don't have to be mad to live here, but it helps. Now, seriously now, I'm absolutely chuffed a bit to be welcoming you to the official opening of our little slice of Spanish sunshine, the Mecklington Chorizo. Hatch! Excuse me. It's another step on the way to Mecklington becoming one of the most cosmopolitan spots in the East Midlands. And like so much that's brilliant in Mecklington, it couldn't have happened without the support of Miracle Enterprises, the company that makes this town what it is. Yeah, all right, now quiet down a bit, thanks. Because we're waiting on someone very special. She might not be Miss Mecklington, but she's had a place in all of our hearts since she was a little girl. Miracle Enterprises have looked after her from the cradle to the... well, now, and she's promised to make her very first ever public appearance. Are you here, love? Mecklington's own little miracle, Jessica Bailey. Is she here?
Barry.
Lisa, what is it, love?
This looks really bad. Miss Porter looks like she's got a right cob on. I'll cover for you. All right, give me the mic.
But wait, what?
I'm sorry, everyone, but Jess ain't going to make a speech tonight. She don't feel able to, so I'm afraid you've got me instead. Thing is, see, Jess was really grateful to Miracle Enterprises for all they've done for her, and she wanted to write a nice thank you speech. So she started to do a bit of research about the company. When I start telling you about this, they're going to drag me off the stage, but read the Lisa Haywood investigative journalism special in the Mecklington Echo tomorrow and you'll see it all. You'll see how this company has been ruining the health of every single one of us all in Mecklington and mapping all the way to the bank. And that's not the all. Ruin about the Mecklington Echo and the Sheffield Courier. You'll be seeing it on this big
That's enough, Miss Haywood. Calm down now.
Liz, what are you doing? I was a fella in Spain.
¿Estás bien?
I feel quite strange.
Yo también me siento extraño.
I have a feeling now like being responsible for something. Like having the whole flower to look after instead of just the smell.
I will try to look after you too.
And I will try and look after you. I wonder if they've cut the ribbon yet. I wonder if Darren's found out by now that I'm not there. I hope they won't do anything bad to Lisa for helping us.
I have been a coward. Un cobarde.
No, Leandro. I'm glad you changed your mind.
I don't know if I ever could have done it, really. I held a gun in my hand every night. Wait, try to understand it. But I don't know how I ever really thought I could shoot her. She had children. I saw them on the internet. Unos gorditos tiernos. Fat, but pretty.
Well, I know she killed people you loved. I mean, her company did, but if you kill her, you're just doing what they do, and they will have bigger lawyers.
What about you? Without your telephone man?
My telephone man isn't what I thought he was. He wanted to swap me for Lisa. He wanted that so much, he didn't even notice she was my friend and not his.
Men are weak.
And women too. They can be weak and frightened and stay inside a house for 10 years.
Your life is your own again now, mi amiga. And you have other friends, like me.
Well, that's very sweet, but I only met you yesterday.
I feel I have known you longer.
Funny how everyone always feels like they know me.
I thought it was Catherine Porter I was coming to Mexington for, but it wasn't. It was you.
The last two of 12.
If anything happens...
I'll call you at the restaurant.
I'll call you at the restaurant.
I always wanted to be a spy.
Have you switched off your phone?
I never brought it. It's at home.
It is a long flight. You should get some sleep.
Get me some peanuts. In a little bag.
In The Mecklington Miracle, Lisa was played by Christine Bottomley, Jessica by Charlie Hayes, Barry Jakes by Martin Hyder, Darren by Andrew Mayer, and Pedro by David Sand. The Mecklington Miracle was written by Hannah McGill and Rachel McGill. The director was Lou Kent.
Please, slow down. You're going too fast. Oh, stop! Please stop! You're frightening me!
Get out! Get out!
Death Against the Odds by Michael McStay, with Stephen Thorne as Inspector Coleman and Joe Dunlop as Sergeant Astor, Phyllis Logan as Lady Penelope, James Warwick as Sir Harry Kelso, and Morag Hood as Annette Granger.
One of the problems that I so often have to face as Sheriff Principal is that the police often fail to present a case properly.
One of the problems that I have to face as a policeman is that the sheriffs often seem more intent on being social workers.
Oh, now steady on, Rodney.
I don't want you patting villains on the head and telling them to be good little villains in future. I want them locked away for a good few years.
I don't think anybody could accuse me of being over-lenient, Ronnie.
Why will policemen talk shop all the time?
Not just policemen, Margaret. Harry, you are becoming very boring.
This concerns you, Penny. It concerns us all.
But not now. Margaret has provided a beautiful meal.
Yes, it was excellent.
Thank you. What was it?
I beg your pardon?
I was joking, Harry. I've known times when he's been so deep in conversation over dinner that he hasn't noticed what he's eaten.
Beef Wellington.
Oh, well done.
You're very quick to pour scorn on my obsession with law and order.
I was teasing, Harry.
But you're the one who gets disproportionately upset about a break-in.
Oh, any woman would
Nothing
feel
was taken.
Somebody in your house.
That's the worst thing.
Nothing doing there, I suppose, Ronnie?
Not as far as I know.
I suppose Inspector Coleman can't be concerned with petty crime.
Harry.
Now I'm teasing Penny.
I'm afraid I have rather left it to my sergeant. I've been distracted by another rash of sheep rustling.
Well, I didn't lose anything.
Have a mea culpa. I shall check on it tomorrow.
You know, I don't really understand why a chap like you becomes a policeman in the first place.
Oh, Harry, please don't start him on that. Now, would anybody like some more sweets? Meringue.
Somebody has to do it.
Please. Oh, no, thank you, Margaret.
But why you? You've a first-rate education. You're comfortably off. More than comfortably off.
Well, there's nothing that says that the copper has to be a Mr. Plod. In fact, in this high-tech age...
Yes, but all the same.
And I'm married, money.
Ronald.
Well, I didn't mean to pry.
Then please don't, darling.
But when one thinks of a policeman...
People really do think of policemen. Until they need them. We have refuse disposal experts, I believe we now have to call them. To keep the rubbish off our streets, somebody has to keep the human rubbish off our streets.
I'm going to serve coffee in the library. Excuse me for 5 minutes. Ronald.
Yeah, I'll bring brandy and port through.
Penny?
Oh, I'll give you a hand.
I have no idea of causing offence.
You have a gift?
My sergeant always complains that nobody loves a copper until they need one.
Oh, surely not.
It's True to say that most of the people I know best are Margaret's friends.
I hope you'd consider Penelope and myself.
Yeah, but I met you through Margaret. You take my point.
I came to you after breaking because you're a friend.
Yeah, I'm sorry there hasn't been any progress then.
Ronnie, how does a girl set about attracting her host's attention? Are you going to escort me to the library, or shall I try to find my own way there?
Forgive me. Let me just get the brandy.
Well, I accept that the likelihood of catching a couple of chances is pretty remote.
I might forgive you when I have a large brandy in my hand and you promise to spend the rest of the evening telling me how fascinating you find
As
me.
long as anything I say is not taken down.
In any case, there was no weak
Harry. I deliberately didn't invite anybody else. I felt it's been so long since we saw you and Harry. So much better. And I hate those dinner parties where far too many people sit around. When the best conversations are happening at the other end of the table. And you've got the two most boring men at the party on either side of you.
Of course, I'd quite forgotten your father was a policeman.
Yes.
I remember the case. Dreadful business.
It was at the time.
Shot while investigating a break at a jeweller's.
Today, the death of a copper makes a good front-page story for, 48 hours. In those days, the public outrage lasted until the man was caught, and then for weeks after that, while the hanging debate was resurrected.
Well, the man was caught.
Given up by the criminal fraternity.
How do you mean?
Well, those were the days when the real villains would never countenance guns. As for killing a copper... It took just 4 days before a series of tip-offs had given the police the killer, the gun, and the evidence.
Good Lord.
Will you have another...
Yes, thank you. It's a very fine brandy.
Ronald, if you're offering more brandy, should I make more coffee? Oh, I should love some, Margaret. I assume I'm driving?
You assume correctly, Penelope.
Oh, dear.
It's all right, Ronald. I'll get it.
Is that the reason you became a policeman?
No, not at all.
Well, very different now, I imagine.
Are you two still talking shop?
Yes, the man who killed my father has nowhere to hide. His own kind turned against him. But today, there's a sickening air of casual violence. A bunch of kids will kick an old lady unconscious with a 10-penny coin in her handbag.
I'm afraid it's for you, Ronald. Sergeant Astor.
Damn.
How much longer have we got to hang around, Sarge? Until the inspector gets here. It's taking his time. He's probably got lost. Aye. Along with forensic. Where are they? I do not know, Constable. What are you eating? Biscuits. You want one? No. It helps keep the cold out. I assure you I'm just as cold and miserable as you are, Constable. And it's going to rain soon? In that case, we shall all be cold and miserable and wet. But we're still waiting for the inspector.
Granger. Oh, hello. Yes, I am surprised. Now? Do you know what time it is? I see. Well, that's an offer I can't refuse. 20 minutes?
Todd!
Thank the Lord for that.
You reckon that's him? If it is the inspector, we still have to wait for forensic. And if it's forensic, we still have to wait for the inspector. Bloody hell. What was that, Constable? Nothing, Sarge. Good. No. It's a man's life in the modern force, Constable.
There you are. Good evening, Fred.
Evening, sir.
Got a bit lost. Miserable night.
Especially when you've been hanging around for more than an hour.
I hope I don't detect a note of tetchiness, Fred.
Oh, I hope not, sir.
Most unlike you. I had to wait for a car. Oh, Margaret had a dinner party. I was in the middle of a very fine cognac when you called.
I was in the middle of a pasty and a mug of cocoa.
Thought it advisable not to drive myself. So, why have you dragged me out? Apart from bloody mindedness.
Got a dead woman. Take a look.
Suspicious circumstances?
Possibly.
Possibly? Fred, it was a Hennessy XO, 30 years old.
Sounds nice.
Now, what I'm saying is, couldn't you handle it yourself?
And you know her, sir. You know the husband.
Do I? Is that him?
Oh, no, sir. That's the motorist who found the body.
Got his statement, etc.?
Yes, sir.
All right, let him go home.
Evening, sir.
Good evening, Constable. What are you eating?
Biscuits, sir.
Biscuits?
Aye. Helps keep out the cold.
Does it? Get rid of them, Constable. And tell our friend there that he can go home.
Yes, sir. All right, for some. What did you call it?
Dear God.
Yes, sir, a bit of a mess.
Car?
Yes.
Hit and run?
Oh, yes, sir, but...
Do I know her?
If you take a closer look...
I don't think I'll bother, Fred. Who is she?
Helen Fraser. Wife of Callum Fraser. Drinks in the Prince Charlie. You know him.
Oh, yes. Likes his malt.
That's him.
Has he been told?
Not yet, sir. There's a wee story there.
What the devil was she doing up on the moor at this time of night? Dead long?
Don't know, sir. The thing is, the state she's in, I'd swear she'd been hit more than once.
What do you mean?
Front and back.
Stop!
That'll be forensic.
They're a bit late, aren't they?
Well, I sent for them. Perhaps they got lost, sir. It can happen. No, there's some likely-looking tyre tracks on the verge over there. We'll be able to take some casts.
Well, they'd better be quick. It's starting to rain.
Oh, hello?
Oh, damn it, blast.
Who is it?
It's Harold Kelso.
The Laird.
Laird of all he surveys.
Hello again, Ronnie. I wondered if there was anything I could do.
This isn't necessary, Sir Harold.
Dear. Is that the unfortunate...
There's no need, Sir Harold. This is a matter for the police. My sergeant, and this is Sergeant Astor.
Evening, sir.
He made the call.
Yes.
He has everything under control.
Possibly, but you're on my land. We thought I might be able to help. Might know her, one of my employees, perhaps.
I don't think so.
Let me have a look.
She's in a bit of a mess, sir.
I've got a strong stomach.
Constable, get on the radio again. Find out where forensic are.
Yes, sir.
Could I have a word, Sir Harold?
Yes?
By your car. I appreciate your offer of help.
Oh, not at all. Bit of excitement?
I don't consider a violent death a bit of excitement. This is a police matter,
I'm sheriff, Ronnie.
Well, then, if this case should come before you, you'll be apprised of all the relevant facts.
Oh, don't be so pompous, man.
Harry, you reek of alcohol.
Are you going to breathalyze me?
You've placed me in a very embarrassing position. If one of my officers...
I am on my own land.
You are on a public highway.
You don't have to explain the law to me.
You're presuming on a friendship, Harry. Now, I can't send for another car.
I'm sorry that
you understand?
I'm sorry that you're taking this attitude, Ron. Sure, you know your job, but it seems a mite presumptuous to turn down an offer of help from a member of the public, particularly when that member of the public is a person of some influence in local civil circles.
Friends in high places.
Yes.
Thank you for your offer of help, Sir Harold. Now go home and drive carefully. Fred? Where the hell are forensic? I'm getting soaked.
Oh, your friend leaving, sir.
Bit full of his own importance. Now, where are these tyre tracks you were telling me about?
They're just over here.
Actually had the nerve to utter vague threats.
A bloody idiot.
Kelso?
That biscuit-eating... idiot constable. The tyre tracks. He hasn't covered the tyre tracks. They're half washed away.
How unfortunate. Now, will you explain that to forensic? I suspect this is them now.
It's common knowledge around the pub. And a few nights back, Callum arrived in the bar, ordered a drink, and suddenly burst into tears.
What?
Through his sobbing, he tried to explain that his wife was having an affair.
Which you knew.
We also knew that Callum knew she was having an affair. And didn't give a damn as long as she was around to cook his meals and iron his shirts.
Well, a man should have his priorities, right?
But then he got around to the truth of the matter. It seemed that he'd just got his bank statement and discovered she's been forging his signature to his checks.
Good Lord.
Well, he's a prudent man's Callum. His wife's affair was acceptable within certain limits, for the fact that he was paying for it as well.
Oh, quite beyond the pale.
Since then, he's been back in the pub, drinking heavily and making wild threats about what'll happen to his wife.
And you think that...
It's a possibility.
Mrs. Pullman?
Has he been notified?
Not yet, sir. I wanted this talk.
Dr. Calderside.
Good evening, Doctor. Good morning.
I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. I'm afraid your young woman through there is in one hell of a mess.
That's why I'm here.
Yes, of course. I'll play.
You tell me, Doctor.
Well,
I haven't yet had a chance to do a full post-mortem. But it's clear that she has been hit more than once, certainly twice, maybe 3 times. Before she lay down and died, as it were.
That's what my sergeant said.
And I'm certain that she was then run over yet again while she was lying on the ground.
Yes.
You don't sound very surprised.
Oh, I've been a policeman a long time. Are you able to tell me at what stage of this terrible battering the poor woman actually died?
Can't tell before I open her
I
eyes.
need to be quite certain that she couldn't have been hit, for example, by any other passing car after the original accident.
It's not as if she was found on Sucky Hall Street, is it, sir?
Oh, right, Fred.
The only alternative is that one hit-and-run driver had the same accident 3 times.
Yes. Yes, I'm afraid we are looking at a particularly unpleasant murder. Could you get me an autopsy report as a matter of urgency, Doctor?
Oh, yes, of course.
Thanks very much for your help.
Not at all.
Right. Get round to the husband, Fred. Yank him out of bed and let's see what he has to say.
No, sir.
Let's not keep him waiting any longer. One way or another, he'll be expecting a call from us.
You'll be going to the station?
Oh, I don't think so, Fred. I'll leave you to soften him up. I'm cold and wet and just a little deflated. I think I shall go home and see if there's any brandy left.
Oh, I'm sure Mrs. Coleman will have left you a dram, sir.
Oh, I'm sure she has, Fred. She takes great care to indulge my little luxury.
Why not? After all, a Hennessy XO, 30 years old.
Just come in, Sarge.
Good. Got the morning report ready, Jackie?
I'll get on the desk in 5 minutes.
Good, man. The sooner we get through it, the sooner I get my head down.
Rough night.
Duty, young Jackie.
Morning, Fred.
Morning, sir.
Morning, young stuff.
Oh, yes.
Well, how did it go, Fred?
Very well indeed, sir.
Still got him here?
Oh, yes, sir. Booked and locked up.
Booked?
And locked up. You missed all the fun, sir.
Callum Fraser?
No problems. He was actually trying to clean his car down when we arrived. He'd been drinking. Didn't even pretend. Broke down as soon as he saw the uniforms.
Well, what had he done?
Just what we thought. Drove his wife up onto the moor in the late evening, then told her to get out. Drove the car straight at her. Took him 3 or 4 attempts to kill her, he's not sure. Can't understand why she didn't run off across the moor as soon as she realised what he was up to.
She was probably a sport. Didn't want to spoil his fun. I'm sorry. But she would scarcely expect him to drive the car at her. And after the first blow, she'd be stunned, unable to think or move quickly.
Poor woman.
Yes. Well, the excitement's over. What else do we have?
Young should have the morning report.
Come. Is that the...
Morning report, sir.
Anything interesting?
That usual stuff, sir.
What is the usual stuff, Young?
Another outbreak of sheep rustling?
I thought that one was all sorted out. It's the Kendrick brothers.
Is it, sir?
Yes.
How do you know?
Oh, Fred.
Because it's always the Kendricks, Jackie.
But we haven't got any evidence.
Then go and get some evidence.
Me, sir.
You know where they live.
The Strathallan estate, Jackie.
The other side of the moor.
I'll give you something to do with your day, Constable.
Oh, yes. Thank you, sir.
Check with me later, Jackie. He's not a bad lad, sir.
He's a raving idiot. The disaster area.
The occasional word of praise.
When he does something praiseworthy, I shall be the first to recommend he be transferred somewhere where his talent can flourish. What else have we got?
There's a couple of stolen cars.
Somebody needing a lift home. They'll turn up in Glasgow.
And a domestic. Oh, wife beating up her husband. He won't lay charges. Looks bad in the pub.
Good grief. There's nothing there to occupy a constable. Whatever happened to major crime, Fred? Spoke too soon. This is it. Coleman? Good morning, sir. Yes, sir, of course. Is it a killing in Kilmore's, a massacre in Moncton? No, sir. Just going through the morning report. Another lackluster day. Yes. Yes, sir. Superintendent Macaulay wants the word. At once. Sounds tetchy.
This report, will I...
When I get back.
I was hoping to get my head down.
Of course. Grab a cup of coffee, Fred. I won't be long.
I don't want another cup of coffee. Thank you. I want a glass of sherry with the soup, lad. Well, I want to get to bed.
Well, I must say that all sounds very satisfactory. Sergeant Aston?
Yes, sir.
There's no possibility of a cock-up.
What do you mean, sir?
Well, you know, I mean, so many people, the press baying for our blood. The confession. All pucker?
If I know Astor, recorded with a witness and repeated in front of a lawyer, no, sir, he'd have got it right.
Good, good. Commend him from me.
And that wasn't why you wanted to see me, Superintendent?
Oh, no, not directly. But would you care for a sherry, Ronnie?
Is that the,
Yes, it's the one Ellsworth discovered in the local supermarket. It's rather good.
Yes, but not for me, thank you. It's early.
Oh, yes. Well, I suppose I ought not to. Having lunch with Harry Kelso.
That'll be nice, sir.
He's a good man, Ronnie. Very powerful locally.
So he tells me.
Well, I might as well come straight to the point. I've had a complaint.
The day will be when you don't have a complaint.
No, this one is personal.
I'm sorry to hear that, sir.
Well, no, the complaint's been made against you. Harry Kelso.
I see. Well, if you can let me have it in the usual manner, sir.
It's not formal. Now, look, Ronnie, that was bloody embarrassing for me.
Well, if it's not formal, why are we wasting our time on
There
it?
was this business last night.
Sir Harold turned up on the moor.
And you were rude to him.
Well, he was poking his nose into something that didn't concern him.
I don't have to remind you
that he's a very powerful man locally. No, sir, you just said that.
And you were rude to him.
I was not rude to him. Have you ever known me to be rude to anybody, sir?
Frequently. Suffice to say that he resented your attitude.
Oh, good grief.
He also complained this morning that he returned to the scene of the accident, murder, and found an empty cigarette packet, what appeared to be a couple of soiled swabs, a plastic bag containing the remains of some plaster of Paris, and even a half-empty packet of biscuits.
Oh, damn it all, sir. It was a filthy night in the middle of nowhere. A woman was dead.
No harm has been done, Ronnie.
There certainly has not.
It might be an idea to have a word to the personnel concerned. We are very vulnerable to criticism of any kind, particularly when it comes from someone like Sir Harry.
I'll speak to them, sir.
He's a good friend of the force, and we need all the friends we can get.
The man's a pompous idiot.
Yes, well, I have nothing more to say.
Thank you, sir. I'll pass your message on. Oh, enjoy your lunch.
It was the middle of the night, sir. And we had a dead
I
woman.
don't give a damn, Sergeant. You were the senior officer present. It was your job to see that members of the public were not inconvenienced by the actions of the men under your command.
Yes, sir.
Good grief. Have you seen this report?
No, sir.
What were you doing while I was with the superintendent?
You suggested I might get a coffee.
Yeah. Well, here's a problem you can sort out. The Kendricks.
Constable Young is dealing with that now, sir.
And it seems that they've been slaughtering the sheep in their garage again.
If it was them.
Oh, of course it was them. Same pattern. They've obviously been trying to get rid of the entrails down the loo.
Yeah.
The water supply to half the estate, and probably some of the bigger houses lying along the same main system, is blocked.
I hope Sir Harold Kelso's isn't one of them.
So, you get down to the water board, find out the areas most likely to be affected, and dispatch a couple of constables to apologise to the householders.
I was actually thinking of getting my head down for a couple of hours.
Good idea, but just as soon as you've been to the water board. Well, I can't send a constable. Needs a bit of authority.
Yes, sir.
Jamie Parish?
Sir?
Who the hell is Jamie Parish?
Oh, yes, I did know about him, sir. The shoes.
That's right, the shoes.
He was nicked for stealing 2 left shoes from the rack outside Dulce's. Remember, a staff recognised him when he came back next day to nick a couple of right ones.
Well, why am I bothered with this?
It's the Daily Report, sir.
Yeah, and what's this? The letter's gone from the roof of the church at Kilmore's? 2 weeks after work to replace it was completed? Well, I thought the lead went from the roof 20 years ago.
Well, that's true, sir. The congregation has been collecting since then to replace it. It was quite a feature, apparently. Very intricate working.
Why don't the good people of Kilmore save everybody's time and energies and just take up a collection for the local villains? If this is the sort of crime that lands on my desk, Fred, do you understand why I get bored and frustrated? And why I get extremely angry with the likes of Sir Harold Kelso? Who is that?
It's Constable Young, sir.
What does he want?
He's found a body, sir.
Well, I told him to bring in the Kendricks. What does he mean he's found a body? Tell him to come in here. What do you mean you found a body? What sort of body?
A dead one, sir.
Well, what have you done with it?
I've notified Sergeant Gregg, sir. I thought I'd better get back here and notify you personally.
And who was it?
I don't know, sir.
And where was it?
On Sir Harold Kelso's land.
Oh, my God.
I can't tell you an exact reference, sir, but you know the junction of two roads by Craigness. Well, one's only a track.
No,
really.
no, I don't know, Constable.
Sergeant Gregg knew it, sir.
You've done well, Jackie.
Been there a long time, I'd say. Since last night. Rigor mortis. Heavily rained on.
Since last night? Fred, you don't think...
Sir?
2 bodies? It couldn't be possible that Fraser killed his wife and then, well, perhaps hit some other poor soul by accident on his way home.
The hit-and-run business is that stuff. Oh, I shouldn't think so. Not unless he stopped, went back, and shot him with a 12-bore as well. The man's chest had been blown away.
Do you know anything about this man? What was his name?
Granger, sir. Derek Granger.
Who identified the body?
Sergeant Gregg knew him, sir. Quite a local celebrity.
Sergeant Gregg?
Derek Granger, sir. He's a bookmaker. And Sergeant Gregg likes to follow the horses.
Are you telling me that Sergeant Gregg made the formal identification?
No, sir.
Then would you answer my question?
Yes, sir. Which question was that?
Good grief.
Only asked 2 questions.
Never mind, young. Is Gregg still here?
No, sir. He took the lady home, sir.
Which lady?
The lady who identified the body.
And which lady was that, young?
Inspector Coleman.
Yes.
I always seem to keep you waiting.
No, forgive me. I was trying to elicit some information from a reluctant witness. Dr. Calderside, this is Police Constable Young.
Hello, Doctor.
Constable Young found the body.
And then I informed Sergeant Gregg. And he arranged for the body to be brought here and for Miss Farrell to identify the body.
Who is Miss Farrell?
Nancy Farrell, sir. Mr. Granger's secretary. I was going to tell you when Dr. Calderside...
Thank you, Constable.
She's a very capable young woman and very attractive.
That wouldn't surprise me, Doctor. Granger had quite a reputation as a man for the ladies.
Thank you, Constable. If I may ask 1 or 2 questions.
Of course, sir.
The usual ones, Doctor?
And the usual answers, Inspector. I'm not able to establish the time of death with any accuracy. The body had been on the moor anything up to 24 hours.
Excuse me, sir.
What is it, Constable?
I might be able to help there. You see, it had been raining hard last night, but I noticed that the ground under the body was still dry.
You moved the body?
No, sir. The rain had driven in fairly hard and had soaked in under one side of the body. But on the other side, it was easy to see that the ground was comparatively dry, protected by the body. I'm sure Sergeant Gregg will verify that.
That would be of help in narrowing the time.
If we could establish what time it started to rain.
Oh, well done, Constable.
Yes, I was up on the moor myself last night. I met up with Astor. It started to rain somewhere around midnight.
That's a help.
I suppose you have an alibi for the time before you met Sergeant Astor.
Constable, I have had very little sleep, followed by an extremely aggravating morning.
Yes, sir. It was a wee joke.
Dr. Calderside, the next obvious question is cause of death.
Oh, I'd have said no doubt about that.
I would like to hear it from the doctor.
Of course, sir.
I understand the weapon was found lying next to the body.
12-bore, sir.
Constable! Would you get me a cup of coffee?
Oh, yes, sir.
You'll find a canteen.
I'll find it, Doctor.
He's a bright young man.
Yes, should go far, and indeed will do if I have anything to do with it. Now, the question I have to ask is, given the obvious cause of death, is there any question that it might have been an accident?
No. The man had taken the blast full in the chest.
Suicide?
Impossible. And for the same reason. He would have to have had extremely long arms.
Yes, I see. So it's murder.
I would say so.
2 murders in 24 hours. Well, that's very exciting. I wonder what odds our bookmaker friend would have given against that happening.
I'm very pleased for you, sir.
Oh, come on, Fred. Only a few hours ago we were complaining about the lack of excitement.
I think you were complaining rather more than me, sir.
But this is the sort of thing that makes the job worthwhile.
My lack of enthusiasm may have something to do with the fact that I still haven't managed to get any sleep.
Oh, I am sorry. We'll make it an early night tonight. Now, Derek Granger, what do we know so far?
Turf accountant. 43 years old. Well known among the social set on and off the racetrack. He's a high flyer, both financially and sexually.
I think you'll have to explain that.
Well, he makes his money primarily from off-course betting.
Anything,
Not a sniff as far as we know. Quite the reverse. He puts a lot of his money back into racing. A great benefactor of local stables and the courses themselves, even south of the border.
Really?
Wherever he has betting shops, he makes sure the sport benefits locally. However, he's reported to have heavy investments in a variety of other interests.
You've done a lot of work in a very short time.
Most of it's Jackie here.
No more than common knowledge, sir.
Yes, well, I'm only interested in bookies when they get themselves killed. Now, what about this sexual high-flying? I take it we're not talking about the Mile High Club.
What's that, sir?
This is from Sergeant Gregg. Granger was renowned to be a sexual athlete of Olympic standard. But apart from the gossip, he was certainly photographed regularly with a variety of beautiful women on his arm.
Well, so far, his lifestyle seems highly commendable and rather enviable.
You might have hit on the word, sir. Envy.
A motive. But people don't kill from envy, do they?
You can't be a Derek Granger without being the subject of a lot of rumour.
Most of it bad.
Nobody bothers to start good rumours, sir.
And what are they saying about Granger?
That there's a number of married women, some married to very eminent folk, who, well, I don't have to tell you, I'm sure.
I see.
Tell you what, sir?
But it's rumour.
We can do some digging.
What we're digging for?
It's a possible motive.
What is?
But money's a more likely one. Does he have a head office?
Oh, yes.
Right, then we start there. Where are you going, young?
Were you, sir?
I don't think so.
But I thought I was on the case, sir.
Did you?
I found the body, sir, and I notified Sergeant Gregg, and I went you to the hospital.
Seems fair, sir.
Yes, I suppose it does.
All right, young.
This is your big chance.
Yes, sir.
Sergeant Astor and I will see what we can dig up at Granger's office. You can stay here and go through everything and anything that you can find about him. And then, sit by the phone and wait for our call.
Well, someone has to do it, Jackie.
I suppose so. What I'm looking for, Sarge?
Anything. Start with his financial dealings. Find out who his accountants are, his lawyers, his stockbrokers. Somebody somewhere has a motive for killing him.
And the married women, Sarge, I don't quite follow.
Sex, Jackie. Sex.
We're married women.
It happens, Jackie. It's a wicked world.
Sarge?
Yes, Jackie?
Do you have the address of this Mile High Club?
I'm surprised to find you here, Miss Farrell. After your ordeal.
The world does have to go on, Inspector. Derek was at the head of a huge enterprise. A lot of people rely on me being here.
What exactly is your position in the firm? I understood secretary.
Derek's little joke, Inspector. I started as his secretary, so he's always referred to me as that. In fact, I run the entire turf accounting side of his business.
Well, that's quite a responsibility.
For a woman?
For anybody.
It's in my blood. My father was a very well-known on-course bookmaker. Some years ago, there were allegations. Tattersall's banned him from attending any race meeting for the rest of his life.
Sandy Farrell?
That's right. Derek never believed the allegations and offered my father the job of racing manager here. Daddy accepted, but the damage was done. He died a few years later. Racing is my life, Inspector.
So, when did you last see Granger?
Yesterday. He came into the office every day. He may have had many other business interests, but his life was in racing as well.
Can I get you anything, Miss Farrell?
Thank you, Dad. I'm perfectly all right.
Horse racing has traditionally gathered around it some of the less desirable elements of society.
Traditionally, but reforms over the years, improved policing, stronger powers for the jockey club. Not to mention, scientific advances have meant that it is increasingly difficult to turn a dishonest penny.
What about this, what do you call it, the betting shop side of things?
Off-course betting? Inspector, everybody knows a way of beating the bookies, legally or illegally. The fact is that everything has been tried before, and the few that have succeeded only ever do so once. You'll never hear a bookmaker call gambling a mug's game.
I understand Granger had quite a reputation with the ladies.
Had he?
Common knowledge, Miss Farrell.
Is it relevant?
Well, I'm looking for a motive.
It's possible. Derek had immense charm. Coupled with his good looks and the power that his money gave him, it was a heady combination.
Irresistible.
Oh, yes. Once she had experienced the Granger method, the champagne flight, the box that long shone for the Arc de Triomphe.
dinner at La Serre and the suite at the Georges sank. No woman could resist.
No one?
I did, Inspector. I don't believe in mixing business with pleasure. I've always known that somebody was going to inherit Derek's betting empire, and it might as well be me. I suppose I have inherited that empire. You see, Derek loved racing, and he loved women. He liked winning at both. I had no intention of being one of his also-rans.
And he played a very varied field, is that the expression?
He had absolutely no qualms when it came to women.
Even if they were married?
You have been doing your homework.
A jealous husband, particularly one whose humiliation is made public, would have a powerful motive to revenge himself.
There were married women.
Perhaps married to eminent men?
Oh, Derek had class, Inspector. He didn't waste his time with scrubbers.
I don't understand.
What don't you understand, Sergeant?
Oh, never mind. I just don't understand why a woman would allow herself to be...
Animal attraction, Sergeant. The fact that a mare is already being covered doesn't necessarily prevent her encouraging the advances of a thoroughbred.
Names?
I suppose I could give you a couple. No more than you could find out for yourself.
What about a jealous woman?
No.
You sound very sure.
You never met Derek. No woman would destroy such a beautiful thing.
Even if she knew it couldn't belong to her?
Not while there was the remotest chance of her being able to possess it again.
There is another line of investigation open.
I'm sure there is, Sergeant.
Money. The other prime motive.
I suppose you're thinking of me?
I apologize for my Sergeant, Miss Farrell. He has a very prosaic nature.
I shall benefit substantially from Derek's death.
I wasn't thinking. I was thinking about people that owed him money. Perhaps big money?
Would there be people who...
Yes. I hardly have to tell you that such information would be highly confidential.
Yes, I hardly have to tell you that court orders are already being prepared that will enable me to inspect all Mr. Granger's books.
Of course, Inspector. There is a short list of very large debtors. Those owing in excess of 100,000.
Good grief.
I will have that on your desk in a matter of hours.
Fred?
Sir? Sorry, sir.
I was asking your opinion.
Oh, my mind was away. Having some trouble staying awake.
You're having trouble keeping your mind off that young lady.
Oh, you know me, sir. Once bitten.
Nonsense. That was the first time you've looked more than half awake since this morning. You could be arrested for the look in your eyes.
It was rather spectacular.
And cool.
And efficient.
So, what do you think?
I think she's a bit strong for a sergeant's pay packet.
I meant, what did you think about what she had to say?
She didn't tell us much.
There wasn't much point in you being there, Fred.
Well, she was honest enough about having a motive.
Well, we were going to find that out anyway.
She made it clear she had no romantic attachment to Granger herself.
If we believe her.
But she was honest enough about her reasons, and in being honest, she again emphasized the fact that she benefits from his death.
So, you think that because she's beautiful, efficient and honest, and is about to become very wealthy as a result of her employer's death, we should discount her from our inquiries?
I'm just not going to jump to conclusions.
I'm sure you're not, Fred. I'm sorry I asked.
She had a point about a woman not killing.
Now there I agree. I'm not talking about Miss Farrell's half-baked theories. I'm thinking of the weapon. Women kill with knives or poison, maybe a small gun, but not a 12-bore.
And where would she get hold of a 12-bore?
I don't think we're going to get much further today, Fred. Perhaps you should get some sleep. Come. Oh, Constable Young, what can we do for you?
Got these, sir, and the evening paper.
Oh, let me see.
On the front page, sir.
Socialite brutally murdered.
And this was delivered by special messenger.
Well, that's one fact they've got right.
And this is my report.
Oh, yeah, I'll take those, Jackie.
Good grief.
What's that, sir?
The Harold blasted Kelso sounding off on public morality again. Listen to this. These people must be made aware that driving a car after having consumed any alcohol puts innocent members of the public at risk. The hypocritical prig. Then he's handed out the maximum possible sentence to 2 young offenders.
You can't criticise the man, sir.
I could criticise his right to pontificate on a law which he happily ignores himself.
What's that, sir?
Oh, he really does make me very angry.
Oh, in that case, this should interest you.
What's that?
A list of the people who owe Granger Turf Services more than £100,000.
Sir Harold is into them for 100,360.
My God.
Mr. Farrell's divided our list into two groups. Those who owe that sort of money and can continue to bet, and those on the stop list. Sir Harold's on the stop list.
May I see that?
What's the stop list?
Oh, just what it says, Jackie. A list of people who've exceeded their credit limits, or who for some other reason can no longer place bets with off-course bookmakers.
Some surprising names.
Yes.
You might be right about looking at money as a motive. Well, some of the sums involved here might be worth killing for.
You're not thinking.
Oh, I'd like to. Depends how badly he needs 100,000.
Oh, Constable Young has another wee nugget, sir. Derek Granger, man about town, leading socialite and darling of the fairer sex, was also a married man.
Well, well.
11 years. Annette Granger, 41 years old, no children.
Well done, Constable.
Sergeant Astor always says, divine inspiration is one thing, but it doesn't produce as many results as the painstaking plod.
Does he? Well, this is obviously your forte, Constable. So, take Miss Farrell's list and go through every name on it. Find out everything about them. In particular, I want to know how they can afford to lose such sums of money, and why Granger would continue to let them go on losing while others he stopped.
What exactly am I looking for, sir?
I've no idea. With any luck, that's what you're going to tell me.
I'll start right away.
No, you won't, Constable. It's late. You won't find the access to the information you need at this time of night. Oh, we all need some time away from this. Tomorrow we'll see Granger's wife. And, I expect Miss Farrell is worth another visit.
Oh, yes, sir.
Get to bed, Sergeant.
Right, sir.
And, Sergeant.
Sir?
Sweet dream.
I read about it in the newspaper. I didn't allow it to spoil my day. There's no point in trying to pretend, Inspector. Derek and I have been separated for 7 years. I've hated him for much longer than that.
But you stayed married.
The arrangement suits me. I have an adequate allowance, when he remembered to send it.
Send it?
Oh, none of your civilized behaviour for Derek, Inspector. It would have been too impersonal to make out bank drafts or deal through my lawyer. He sent the cheques through the post, signed by that secretary of his, so that everybody was constantly reminded how generous he was being to his mouse of a wife. And then when he forgot to send it, I would have to go to his office to pick it up personally from that little bitch, just to rub my face a little harder in the dirt.
Why didn't he divorce you?
I've no idea. I would never give him grounds. Some womanizers like the safety net of a little wife tucked away somewhere. Maybe he didn't want the publicity.
I understand he wasn't known for his reticence in that area.
He wouldn't want the kind of publicity divorce would give him. Anyway, it doesn't matter now, does it? I've won.
Won?
He's dead. No more worrying about financial settlements. No more humiliations. Another good reason for not divorcing him. I imagine I'll be a wealthy widow.
I wouldn't know.
Perhaps it's my turn to enjoy a little of the life he led.
When did you last see your husband?
I've no idea. Weeks ago. Months.
When you went to his office?
I didn't necessarily see Derek. The Farrell woman would have the cheque ready for me, together with some reason for my not seeing him. She needn't have bothered herself.
Can you tell me where you were when your husband was killed?
Oh, really? When was he killed?
Sometime between 6 and 11:30 the night before last.
I watched television, and I was in bed, shortly after the news at 10, I expect.
You were alone?
For both activities.
I meant...
I know what you meant, Inspector.
Do you remember what you watched?
No. Yes, there was a play on.
Do you remember...
No. Do you watch television, Inspector? Do you remember what it was about afterwards?
I don't watch much television.
I don't have an alibi for the time you mentioned. Perhaps if I had killed my husband, I might have made sure I had one.
I have to ask...
Then I suggest you ask some of the tarts he flaunted round town. Even better, ask some of the women whose marriages he wrecked, or their husbands. Better still, ask that bitch that runs his office, the one he always goes back to when the current affair loses its excitement.
Our inquiries will cover all the usual ground.
It'll give me great pleasure to show her the door. If you haven't got her first.
So do for my money, sir?
Yes, an obvious choice.
Nobody could have a better motive. She didn't disguise a dislike of her husband.
Dislike is putting it mildly.
The two strongest motives, Kate and money. And she has no alibi.
Which leaves method. Where did she get a 12-ball shotgun, Fred? And what's happening about that?
I left that one with Constable Young.
Well, let's get back to the office and find out how he's getting on.
Come up with quite a lot there, sir. Good. Fingerprints first.
Whose?
Don't know, sir. Not on record. In any case, the killer would almost certainly have worn gloves.
Constable, will you stop wagging your tail like a pleased puppy and tell me what you have to report?
Get on with it, Jackie.
I've traced the owner, sir.
Have you?
Well, not actually me.
Young.
Sorry, sir. It belongs to Sir Harold Kelso.
Does it indeed? Are you sure?
Yes, sir. Last registered owner.
Well, there's a turn up for the book.
Yes.
Then I'd better go and pay Sir Harold a visit. And you, Fred, you go and see Miss Farrell again. And find out if there's any connection between him and Granger other than a large debt.
Right.
Oh, will you be all right on your own?
I'll manage, sir.
Well, if you need me, just whistle.
Sir?
You know how to whistle, don't you? You just put your lips together and blow.
What was that about, Sarge?
Don't worry about it, Jackie. He wants to be Humphrey Bogart when he grows up.
Somebody's obviously made an idiotic mistake.
I doubt it, Sir Harold. Unless you've sold the gun and the new owner hasn't notified.
Of course I haven't.
Well, the problem's easily resolved.
Yes. Yes, of course.
Who is it?
Penny, we're down here.
Ronnie. Oh, very nice. What brings you here?
Business, I'm afraid, Penny.
Just an inquiry.
Ronnie seems to think I've mislaid a gun.
Oh?
You were just about to show me.
Yes. Yes, this way. This is the gun room.
Is that door always unlocked?
I haven't got an arsenal here, Ronnie. Few sporting guns, and the house is very secure.
Well, you were broken into, but...
Yes, but nothing... Good Lord.
Yes?
There is a gun missing. 12 bore.
Are you sure?
Oh, don't be a bloody fool, Ronnie. I'm sorry. I just can't believe... Well, I was obviously wrong.
The guns,
6 of them,
are left in this glass-fronted cupboard unlocked.
Well, one doesn't expect...
What? You're a sheriff, Sir Harold. You are aware that...
These are for sport.
And one of them has blasted the life out of a man.
Yes, I'm sorry, my dear.
What's happened?
Ronald is suggesting that this gun was used to kill somebody.
Your gun?
I'm afraid so.
Who?
Derek Granger.
That man who was on the news. Oh, that's awful.
Did you know him?
No.
Yes. I knew him. I did business with him. I don't think my wife. I don't think you met him, did you, Benny?
No, I don't think so.
He was a bookmaker.
I think everybody knows of my interest in horse racing. Mr. Granger was, in fact, a great benefactor of the sport in Scotland.
Oh, I think I might have met him.
It's quite possible, my dear. It's not important.
What is important is the gun that killed him. It belonged to you.
What the hell is that supposed to mean? It's perfectly obvious what happened. Somebody stole the gun.
Yes, when we were burgled.
You said nothing was taken.
Well, obviously I didn't check.
You had 6 guns in the house and you didn't check.
These guns remain unused for months. They're oiled and put away until the season starts. I never give the damn things a thought for 8 months in the year. That's Peter's job.
Peter?
My Gilly. He doesn't need to give them much attention outside the season. He has his own gun for rabbits and other pests.
It all seems very casual.
Well, it isn't. You and I live in different worlds, Ronnie.
Harry? I'm quite sure we do. Ammunition?
Huh? No, kept in those drawers over there.
Unlocked, I suppose?
Of course they're not locked.
And not much point in locking up the ammunition if you leave the guns unlocked.
I don't like your attitude.
I don't give a damn whether you like my attitude or not. I consider that to be criminal bloody negligence. And in the light of what's happened, you have a great deal to answer for.
Ronnie, Harry doesn't mean...
But we're both a little shocked.
Yes, well, we have to assume that the gun was taken during the break-in. Whether that was the sole purpose of the burglary, if nothing else was taken.
The man was disturbed.
Well, not by anybody in the house.
By the dog.
Ah.
I assume you've made no progress there.
Not to my knowledge. And now that we know that the gun was taken, we shall redouble our efforts.
You mean it's taken this unfortunate man's death to galvanize you into some sort of action?
Most of my time has been taken up with an outbreak of sheep rustling.
What?
However, I will send a man over to take your fingerprints.
Oh!
What are you talking about?
Well, we shall need them for elimination purposes.
But you already have them after the break-in.
They will have been destroyed.
Do you expect me to believe that? I know that the police tend to keep them on file.
That is not true.
Which is tantamount to a violation of civil liberties.
Both you and your wife are at complete liberty to witness the destruction of your prints once we have
Once you've transferred them onto a computer.
Just exactly what concerns you, Sir Harold. I mean, what do you have to worry about if your conscience is clear and you have no intention of committing a felony in the future?
The fact that we know each other socially does not give you the right to
I
come
could
on.
have sent my sergeant round.
We do appreciate your coming personally. It's difficult. It's not easy for us either.
Yes, well, I have no more questions for the moment. I shall send somebody round, but you have my word that the prints will be destroyed.
There will be. I shall see to that.
I don't think Derek had seen her in years, but he looked after her very well. The house is hers. The allowance was very generous.
An allowance that she often had to ask you for.
I don't comment on how people conduct their lives.
You just do your job.
I just do my job.
Will you be doing it for much longer?
What do you mean?
Presumably Mrs. Granger will inherit the business.
I don't think so.
She thinks so.
Oh, I can see how she would like that.
You seem to know something that she doesn't. Or that I do, for that matter.
Once again, Sergeant, I have to say that my job entails a great deal of confidentiality.
Oh, come on, Miss Farrell. Let me say again that we're on a murder inquiry, and we're going to find out a lot of things you might prefer to remain confidential. In the meantime, if you can help the police in their inquiries...
You're very persuasive.
And stop playing bloody games. You're a very attractive woman, Miss Farrell, and I'm sure you're used to getting exactly what you want from people. But I'm used to getting what I want as well, and I don't appreciate being messed about.
Perhaps I wasn't messing about.
Why do you think Mrs. Granger won't inherit this business?
Because Derek has made arrangements that on his death, I should have the opportunity of buying the rest of the shares in it.
The rest?
I'm already a major shareholder. And Mrs. Granger will be wasting her time if she even considers contesting Derek's wishes. She's very well catered for. She will be a wealthy woman and she will continue to receive a share of the annual profit.
You've seen Granger's will?
Yes. We were very close.
Mrs. Granger suggested you were more than close.
Did she?
She said he had affairs with many women, but that you were the one he always went back to.
She has a nasty tongue.
Did he always come back to you?
And it suited me.
You told the inspector you didn't mix business with pleasure.
Derek was purely business.
You did sleep with him.
And it paid off. I got what I wanted. He no longer had any real interest in the work here. I have. I did not intend to see that greedy little wife of his inherit a concern that I had helped to build up and was running successfully.
I see.
You're not shocked, Sergeant? Sometimes a girl has to look after her own interests. I wasn't prepared to be another of Derek's affairs to be dropped when he got bored. I made the running. His rather flashy charm didn't appeal to me. I like a man to be a little more mature, a little more reliable. I like a steer. Sergeant.
Yes. Well, you said that, what about some of these other affairs? You said you might be able to give us some names.
Mostly they were easily forgettable. Leggy, busty earheads. They wouldn't interest you, Sergeant. They might have bored Derek to death, but they weren't intelligent enough to bear any real malice.
But there were others.
There were others when I thought that Derek was being more than usually indiscreet.
Married women?
As your inspector suggested, sometimes to some very eminent people.
Such as who?
He really didn't seem to give a damn. flaunting his sexual achievements.
Oh, some little boys never grow up. Such as who, Fred?
Well, the wife of a leading trainer. That actually came to a punch-up at the Ayr Spring meeting. It was particularly unfortunate because he had hopes of receiving some royal horses into the stable.
Well, that sort of thing's no longer a bar to royal patronage, is it? Surely they have enough problems of their own these days. No, not impressed.
There was the daughter of a prominent minister.
Oh, I'm told they can be very spirited little things.
Well, that might have gone unremarked if he hadn't then decided to, what do they call it in racing terms, go through the card.
This case is in danger of corrupting you, Fred. What do you mean?
Well, it started being seen out with a minister's wife.
Oh, a man of Catholic taste.
Church of Scotland, actually.
Yeah, the reverend gentleman might have sold his story to the newspaper. And he would always have the consolation of knowing that his wife would get her comeuppance at the pearly gates. No, you'll have to do better than that.
Then, how about the wife of a man very eminent in local political and legal circles?
There's enough adultery in political and legal circles to make it almost a sine qua non for the job. Come on, Fred. We're looking for a motive for murder. And so far, the wife and your lady are ahead of the field. Now, all this squalid wife bonking isn't providing us with anything.
But what if the man I'm talking about was a pillar of rectitude? Who was constantly delivering homilies in public about moral behaviour, and who was in danger of being laughed out of court if his wife's indiscretion was discovered? And what if he was also in considerable debt to Granger?
Harold Kelso?
Would you like another one of those, sir?
Damn you, Fred. What have you found out?
Just that. Penny Kelso. Lady Penelope.
And Granger?
She came to her senses just before it hit the gossip columns. But neither of them made much of a secret of it up till then.
Well, how did Kelso take it?
I can only guess.
Yes.
There you are, sir. I was looking for you. They said you might be in the pub.
No, not in uniform. I'm not in uniform.
What's that, sir?
You don't come into a pub in uniform, Jackie.
It frightens the customers.
I'm sorry. I wanted to get this to you. It's the information you wanted on the people who owed Mr. Granger money.
Well, it can wait until I get back to the office.
I thought it was urgent.
Well, it's not. Good Lord. You're going to publish a book?
I tried to be thorough.
Good, Constable. But what you give me is a précis, a report that I can digest in 5 minutes.
Sorry, sir. Leave that on my desk, Jackie. I'll give you a hand later.
Thanks, Sergeant.
No, wait. What have you got on Sir Harold Kelso?
He's a sheriff. His title is
He owes the deceased a great deal of money. Can he afford it?
No.
Thank you. Then how has he got into that kind of debt?
Gambling, sir.
I think I can answer that, sir. OK, Jackie, get that stuff back to the office. I'll be across shortly.
Right. Thanks, Sarge. I'm sorry, sir. I thought...
He's not a bad lad, sir.
Have a word with him, Fred. Sort him out.
Right.
About Kelso.
Oh, yes. I asked Miss Farrell. Every client, you see, has a credit limit. When they reach it, then they can have no more bets until it's settled. They're the average mug punter. Then there are some who are the really heavy gamblers.
Kelso?
Not really, sir. His credit limit was 10,000. There's a couple have got 50,000 limits, and even more if they want it. They were good for it.
And Kelso wasn't?
Nancy said not.
Nancy?
Miss Farrell. She said that he'd reached a point where Kelso was not paying and was just doubling up his bets. It's a classic recipe for losing.
But why did they let him get so far in over his head?
I can think of two reasons. One, that he's a prominent figure and you don't want to offend a man like that. And secondly, it could give you a hold over him.
Blackmail?
I'm just putting a couple of ideas forward.
But gambling debts are not enforceable in law.
Well, if Granger chose to bring him before Tattersall's, he could be banned from the sport.
I think I should have another word with him. He suddenly has a lot more questions to answer.
Well, the same would go a bit canny, sir. A bad man to have against you. What about the wife?
You're right, Fred. Let's be thorough. Let's do it by your book. The wife first. Tomorrow morning. Which gives you time to get these in again.
Well, cheers, Ronnie.
Yes, cheers. Oh, excellent.
Harry has it shipped privately.
Nice to have money.
Connections. I'm sure Harry could arrange to let you have the occasional dozen bottles.
I would certainly be tempted.
You don't like him, do you?
I'm not here to talk about him, Penny.
No.
You lied to me.
It was a very long time ago, and Derek... Do we have to?
I could ask somebody else.
No. I'm not going to make excuses, Ronnie. You didn't know him?
No.
He was such fun. Harry is quite a bit older than me, but I suppose I was carried away at the thought of being Lady Penelope Kelso, and the responsibility of helping him run the estate made me feel very grown up. But eventually, it seemed there was no escape from it, and the evenings spent with boring people who might be useful to Harry. Oh, that's why I love the evenings we have with you and Margaret. She's always full of the newest things happening in the theatre and in the arts, and you have such a fund of fascinating stories.
Margaret says I always talk shop.
Well, perhaps your shop is more interesting than Harry's. And you have a sense of humour. Oh, Harry can devote a whole evening to the possible effect of the nationalist vote on the council elections. And he's terminally worried about the lack of support for the Tories in Scotland.
Oh, the Scots are a very generous race. I'm sure they will support the Tories at the first sign of the Tories supporting them.
You see, a sense of humour is very sexy.
I'm still Margaret, that.
Oh, she knows.
Well, we were talking about you.
Yes, of course.
When did you meet Granger?
It was a race meeting. We were having a dismal day. Harry had lost badly.
Gambling?
Oh, no, Harry doesn't gamble. He had 2 horses running that day. They were both strongly fancied to win, and neither of them was placed. And then, suddenly, there was Derek. I remember a lot of champagne and laughter, and then he put a bet on a horse for me. He said it was bound to win, and it did, and I remember shouting at home and hugging Derek, and we laughed.
I see.
No, I don't think you do, Ronnie. He was charming and attentive, and he offered a social and a sexual excitement that I'd always dreamed of. The affair just seemed to start very naturally, and it didn't seem at all wrong. You see, it depends sometimes how you look at things. Words are very important. Being unfaithful to Harry was all a bit of a lark, but adultery, it was adultery. It became more and more difficult to find opportunities. Oh, Derek didn't care, but I did. Somehow the excitement wore off.
For you?
Yes. It would have ended naturally.
But?
Harry found out.
How?
Derek told him.
Oh.
He said he wanted to marry me, that he was in love with me, but... Oh, Harry needed me. And somehow it has made us much stronger.
When was all this?
More than a year ago.
And you haven't seen him since?
No.
And Harry?
I don't know. I suppose. He was very angry. I didn't realize the damage I was doing to him. I hurt him dreadfully. I've grown up a lot, Ronnie.
And everybody lived happily ever after?
Yes.
Except Granger?
Poor Derek.
Who killed him, Penny? Who would kill him?
I have no idea.
And who would try to implicate you?
Me?
Or Harry? The gun that killed him came from here.
It was stolen.
And then used to kill Granger.
That's coincidence, surely. Anybody could have stolen the gun. Somebody could have stolen it to sell to somebody else. These things happen.
Happenstance.
What?
Once is coincidence, Mr. Bond. Twice is happenstance. Yeah, thank you for being so frank, Penny. I know it's been very painful for you.
Thank you for being a friend.
It's very difficult for coppers to have friends.
But we are.
I'd like to think so.
You're jumping to conclusions, sir.
But I'm right. She's protecting her husband.
She could be protecting herself.
Oh, look at it again, Fred. It all makes sense. What did your Miss Farrell say?
She's not my Miss Farrell.
Well, she's a pretty straight lady, wouldn't you say?
Yes. She's a fairly tough nut, and she doesn't volunteer information, but when she says something, I reckon she means it.
And she said no woman would have killed Granger.
That's theory, sir.
And the weapon used was a man's weapon.
Theory?
Will you stop interrupting?
I'll do my best.
The gun belonged to Kelso. Now, I find it unlikely that he would not know that a gun was missing after a break-in. And we've made no progress on that. I think we'll find that the whole thing was a put-up job to explain the loss of the gun.
No, hold on,
Let me finish. Nothing else was taken because they were presumably disturbed by a dog. Now, proper villains know what they're doing. If they wanted to turn over the Kelso place, they would have coped with a dozy pooch.
You're not being logical, sir.
Oh. All right, Fred. All right. Why not?
If you're going to the trouble of faking a break-in in order to explain the loss of a gun, then you report the loss at once.
Yes, all right. Let's assume that the break-in was genuine. But he used it later to explain the loss of the gun.
Well, I suppose that's feasible.
Well, it's more than feasible, and he's got the motive, revenge and money. There's over 100,000 involved, and he owes it to somebody who's had an affair with his wife.
He still owes the money.
But Nancy Farrell is not Derek Granger. He plays everything very close to her chest. She has nothing to gain by shopping Kelso. She can afford to wait for him to pay. He doesn't want his racing cronies to know about his gambling debts. And that's something else. Penny said he didn't gamble.
And she's wrong.
Not necessarily. Suppose that money was some kind of payoff. Penny said that Granger was still in love with her. Maybe he took money to stay away. Well, Kelso knew what had been going on, and if he were prepared to pay the man off, a phony credit account would be the ideal way of explaining such large sums of money.
Then we'll find checks paid from Kelso's account to Granger's account.
No. He hasn't paid any yet. It's a credit account. When Granger decides he's had enough, he'll call in the total debt. Kelso only had to agree to make one losing bet, and he was caught in the classic blackmail syndrome. But then he was trapped in a second threat, the exposure of the gambling debts to Tattersall's or whoever.
Hold on, sir. Let's imagine you're right so far.
Well, I am.
So we know how and we know why, but what about when? At the time Granger was killed, Kelso was with you, sitting around drinking your brandy.
No! I've thought about that, too. I think we're dealing with a very cool customer. What did you call him? A pillar of rectitude?
Did I?
And yet, on the night Granger was killed, he had been drinking and was out driving his car when he was well over the legal limit. And he was careless enough to let me know what he was doing. Good grief, Fred. He made me his alibi.
But you are his alibi, sir.
No, he left the dinner party well before I did. I had to wait for a car. He had previously phoned Granger. No. He used the moment. He went home and phoned Granger, arranged a meeting.
At that time of
Money.
night?
Granger was blackmailing him. He met him, killed him, and then drove on to meet me. Yes, I'm quite certain he asked me where the hit and run had happened. He used me as his alibi.
He'd be taking an enormous chance.
Well, murder's a risky business.
And you just said Kelso wasn't a gambler?
But he didn't gamble. He worked out the odds very carefully. He sat and waited for the moment. And when it presented itself, he took it coldly and calmly. Well, obviously he had to tell Penny where he was going at that time of night, so he needed me as his alibi. Oh, but I should have seen it earlier. I mean, normally, he would never have driven in that state. It was out of character.
So is murder.
I'll have to speak to Macaulay before I do anything. What are you up to, Fred?
Oh, I'm just following up a few ideas. Tidying up a couple of things.
Could you bring yourself to talk to your Miss Farrell again?
Yes.
I want to know exactly when those bets of Kelso's were made. I have a feeling we'll find he never made them.
I'll go and see her.
And I'll go and see Macaulay. I hope he'll come with me to see Kelso.
I hope you're right, Ronnie.
You've heard what I had to say, sir.
Very circumstantial.
And it all fits.
Just be very careful what you say.
And that's why I wanted you to be here, sir.
Oh, Ronald, what do I owe this pleasure? Ian, I wasn't told you were here.
Good evening, Harry.
Is this a formal visit?
I asked Superintendent Macaulay to accompany me.
Oh?
A few problems seem to have cropped up.
Really? I presume there's no point in offering you a drink.
Sir Harold, I'm sure you remember the night Derek Granger was murdered.
Of course.
Could you tell me what you did after you left my house?
I went home.
And then you went out again?
You know I did. Exactly is going on.
If you could bear with us, Harry.
Have you come to give me some sort of reprimand? I'd had a drink. Coleman made his attitude perfectly clear, and I made mine equally clear. I phoned you next day because I felt, well, exceeded his authority.
Can you tell me when you decided to come looking for the scene of the hit-and-run accident?
No, I can't.
Well, perhaps you can tell me how long you were out of the house that night.
That's a long time. Why?
Presumably Lady Kelso would know.
I was gone, at least an hour.
Quite a long time. How long would it take you to drive from here to Craigna Foley?
Bonnie?
Craigna Foley?
It's where Derek Granger's body was found.
There's a telephone call.
Oh, I'll take it.
What are you suggesting, Coleman?
I'm just trying to clarify a few things in my own mind, sir. How long?
About 10 minutes.
And to drive from here to the hit-and-run?
About 15 minutes.
You were out for more than an hour.
It took me a little time to find you.
You knew where we were?
Not exactly. It probably took me half an hour to find you.
How long would it take Granger to get from his home to Craigna Foley?
No damned idea. And I don't think I'm answering any more questions until I have my lawyer present.
That is your right, sir. There are more questions I want to ask.
Such as?
Bonnie.
I want a better explanation of how your gun came to be used to kill Granger.
You know damned well the gun was...
And I want to know more about the extremely heavy gambling debt you had incurred to Granger Turf Service.
What the hell are you talking about?
That was Sergeant Astor. He said it was urgent.
What was it?
Oh, it's nothing he could say over the phone. He suggests you return to the station.
Ah. Well, we'll not get any further here. Sir Harold has decided to exercise his right to legal representation. I suggest we all go to the station.
You mean me?
Yes, sir.
Am I under arrest?
Of course not, Harry. Just a few questions. Isn't that right?
Quite a few, sir. Why didn't you tell me any of this, Fred?
Because I didn't know any of it until a couple of hours back.
Pursuing your own lines of inquiry.
Not exactly, sir. Just plodding along.
Doing it by the book. You should have told me what you were up to.
You were not in the mood to listen. You'd made your mind up.
No question of error.
Forensic haven't had time to type it up.
Enough to make an arrest?
Yes, sir.
Oh, what a mess. Well, have to face it, I suppose. Come with me, Fred.
Righto, sir.
May I remind you, Superintendent, that my client is not here on a social visit.
I'm sorry, Mr. Cropper.
And unless you intend to lay formal
I'm
charges...
sure that Inspector Coleman...
We have been waiting half an hour. I suggest you find your inspector this instant, or allow Sir Harold and his wife...
There was no need for Lady Kelso...
I wanted to come.
Sorry to have kept you all waiting.
This is Mr. Cropper. He's representing Sir Harold.
And getting extremely angry at this inexcusable delay.
I have apologized.
There had better be a good reason.
There is. A very good reason. Further facts have come to light.
Concerning my client?
No.
Then may I assume that my client is not under arrest?
It has never been suggested that Sir Harold...
Sir Harold has been good enough to come to the station to help us with our inquiries into the death of Derek Granger.
Stop playing games, Inspector.
I still have questions that require answers.
Are you cautioning my client?
Do shut up, Cropper. Inspector Coleman knows that I'm always happy to assist the police in any way I'm able. What I resent, and shall pursue at another time, is any suggestion that I've been less than forthcoming with my help up to now.
The point I was about to make, Sir Harold.
And I detect a change from his previous attitude. Am I right, Inspector?
You said that you were out of the house for more than an hour on the night Granger was murdered. Can you be more precise?
No.
Can you help us?
That sounds about right. Over an hour.
I remember suggesting Penny didn't wait up. I didn't know exactly where the accident was. It might have been one of my employees.
Yes. How well did you know Granger?
Not at all. Only from the racecourse.
Where did he live?
No idea.
You're sure?
Of course I'm sure.
In view of his association with your wife.
What the hell do you mean by that?
I told him, Harry. He knows.
Damn and blast you, Coleman.
Sir Harold, I wish you would take my advice.
Let's get this over with, Cropper.
Presumably, you do know where Granger lived.
Yes.
And how to contact him.
Yes.
Night or day.
Yes.
And how long it would take him to get from his home to Craigna Foley.
About half an hour.
20 minutes at night? Lady Penelope? About 20 minutes, would you say?
What is going on?
Inspector?
I'll ask my sergeant to continue, sir. He's been doing the groundwork on this case. Sergeant Astor?
Oh, yes, sir. I've been checking on dry cleaning establishments, sir.
On what?
The Federation of Dry Cleaners, the professional body, they're very helpful. I gave them a number of photos. They distributed them throughout all the shops in the area.
What photographs are these, Sergeant?
It was just a precaution, sir. Normal procedure. You see, it struck me that whoever had fired the shotgun on the night in question would need to get rid of the powder burns from their clothing. They would either destroy it or perhaps have it cleaned.
And what have you come up with, Sergeant?
Well, the photographs weren't necessary, as it turned out. Lady Kelso used her own name when she took a raincoat, a sweater, and a dress to the brand new dry cleaning and repair.
What the hell are you talking about?
Forensic have told me their findings. They're typing up a full report.
Penny?
I also went to Granger Turf Services and spoke to Miss Nancy Farrell. She reluctantly confirmed the fact that the Kelso account had been stopped with debts of more than £100,000.
What?
Upon investigation, she ascertained that the wages had been made
What the bloody hell are you talking about,
Sir Harold?
He ascertained that the wages had been made in the name of Lady Kelso.
What is going on?
There were relatively few wagers made.
He let me double up. It just seemed like fun.
Lady Kelso, I must advise you.
Are you telling me?
Sir? Oh, yes, thank you, Sergeant. Penelope Kelso, I'm arresting you on suspicion of the murder of Derek Apsley Granger on the night...
Do not say anything at this moment.
Stop it, all of you.
I should warn you that you're not obliged to say anything.
It's all right, Ronnie. It's all right.
Do you mean that you owed that man money? Used my name?
I also killed him, Harry. Which bothers you most?
I must insist that that last remark be treated in the light of extreme emotional stress.
Oh, you are a nincompoop, Cropper.
And should be disregarded.
Why do you employ such idiots, Harry?
There's one other thing, but... My sergeant had the presence of mind to ask the man who found that unfortunate woman's body whether he'd seen any other cars on the moor that night. On his way home, he saw the Land Rover belonging to Granger, and he saw a light green saloon car parked next to it. Lady Kelso, I believe you own a light green saloon car?
I was afraid he might have seen us.
He remembers thinking it was a bad night for a lover's tryst.
What happens now, Ronnie?
Forensic will give your car a going over.
I mean, to me.
Well, of course, you will.
This is absolute nonsense. Macaulay, I hold you responsible for this prefabricated rubbish.
Superintendent, this is all highly irregular.
Lady Kelso has been advised of her rights.
You don't have to say anything else.
Still being a perfect gentleman, Ronnie. Derek was never that. But he was so exciting. I did try to be a good wife to you, Harry. So, we've been through all that.
It's our private business, Penny.
Not anymore. Not anymore. Eh, Ronnie? He got tired of me.
Penny.
It wasn't the way I told you, Ronnie. I thought I was going to marry him, and he just laughed and told me he was already married. I didn't know it was possible to love anybody so much. And he got bored with me. And then there was the money, but that was only a game. It wasn't real money. But he talked about business and debts of honor. What did he know about honor? How could I pay him that sort of money? It had all been a game.
Please, don't say any more, Penny.
I must advise you.
But you see, I had written letters. He would have made them public. I would have been left with nothing.
We would have survived.
Would we? Perhaps now. But... So, I phoned him. We'd been talking about the break-in over dinner, you remember?
Did you fake that?
Oh, no. There really was a break-in.
Is that when you took the gun?
No, I took it that night. I had known for some time that I would have to do something. And there was the moment. Harry had never let me out of his sight. But there he was, rushing off on some quixotic errand.
There'd been an accident.
I wish I could have been sure that you cared for me.
Oh, my dear.
But you gave me the chance I needed.
So you phoned Granger?
Yes.
And he came? Just like that?
He would always come, night or day, when we... I knew he would come for his money. He still cared about that.
And you took the gun?
I would have been left with nothing. No Derek, no Harry. Will I be able to go home? There are things I will need.
I'll arrange that.
Lady Kelso, if you will go with the sergeant, formal charges will be laid. Mr. Cropper, I suggest...
Yes, of course. You haven't heard the last of this, Macaulay. This man, he has carried out a personal vendetta. He has harassed me and has tricked my wife. You haven't heard the last of this.
You done well on this one, Jackie.
Or just following up what you told me to do?
Showing a bit of initiative. Inspector Coleman can't ignore what you've done on this one.
He doesn't like me, does he?
The inspector?
I seem to make him angry.
No. He was saying just yesterday that you, what was it he said? He thought you were wasted in the police force.
Did he? Can I freshen your glass, Sarge?
And you've got all the right instincts.
Same again?
Yeah.
Do you think he'd recommend me for a transfer?
I'm sure he would.
To CID?
You can only ask.
Perhaps you could say something, Sarge.
Yes, it's a pint.
Oh, right. Funny how things work out, isn't it? A wee thing like that Lady Kelso. Then the inspector thought all along it was a man.
Yes.
I wasn't so sure myself.
Well, Nancy Farrow was sure it wouldn't be a woman.
You fancy her, don't you?
Who?
That Nancy Farrow.
Don't be daft.
Yes, you do. You bring her into the conversation.
You're being stupid, Jackie.
I don't think so.
Well, that's one of the reasons the inspector gets so angry with you.
But you just
when
said...
you say daft things like that, he gets angry.
Sorry, I don't mean...
I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
Just that you said that Nancy
Yes,
Farrow...
I know what I said. Are you going to get that drink in, or you know?
I won't hear of it. You're being bloody stupid, Ronnie.
I certainly have been, sir. Which is why I'm tendering my resignation. I let my own personal likes and dislikes lead me into making a fool of myself, and nearly caused serious trouble for you.
You didn't.
A last-minute phone call from my sergeant.
Now look, Ronnie.
I ignored the basic tenet of good police work. I let my personal feelings affect my judgment. I like Penny, Lady Kelso. She's an attractive woman, and I didn't want it to be her. Didn't even consider her. I don't like Kelso, and I did want it to be him.
Look, you're tired and you're under emotional stress. Go home, talk to Margaret, and have a good night's sleep, and, well, talk about it in the morning.
Good grief. The number of times I've lectured my sergeant about coppers and having friends.
Ronnie, I am not accepting your resignation. Is that clear? What you want to do about it tomorrow is your business. Now go and get yourself a large malt.
My last bus goes in a minute.
What makes you think I could afford a woman like Nancy Farrow?
I wouldn't know anything about that, Sarge.
I mean, on a sergeant's paper.
I ought to be going home.
No. We'll have another of these.
Do you think you...
Now, don't you start that, Jackie. I'll tell you when I've had enough.
The inspector's just come in. I think I better be on my way.
Stand your ground, Jackie. I'm going to tell him what you said.
There you are, Fred. Thought I might find you across here.
I've knocked off for the night, sir. I'm owed a night's sleep.
Quite right. Young. Jackie Young, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
What do you have, sir?
Call me Ronnie.
Sir?
I'm starting a new life, Fred. as a civilian.
Is everything all right, sir?
No. No, it's not. Oh, we'll discuss it over a jar. You know, Fred, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
The part of Inspector Coleman was played by Stephen Thorne, Sergeant Astor, Joe Dunlop, and P.C. Young, Peter Gunn. Penelope Kelso, Phyllis Logan, Harry Kelso, James Warwick. Annette Granger, Morag Hood, Nancy Farrell, Elaine Collins. Margaret Coleman, Diana Bishop. Superintendent Macaulay, John Fleming. Dr. Calderside, Pauline Yates. Mr. Cropper, John Webb. Constable David Holt, and Derek Granger, Dominic Letts. Death Against the Odds was written by Michael McStay and directed by Jane Morgan.